Well, hello everybody. Matt Johnson over at SFREP here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Glad you could all join us. I am also here with Linda Nelson. She is a appraiser here in the Charlotte area, and she is also an educator. So she knows what she's doing with all of this stuff. We're going to be doing a deep dive into the UAD 3.6. Now, as I've said everywhere that I was promoting this, and wow, you guys really showed up for this. So far, we got over 100 people in here. This is a CE level course. As a matter of fact, Linda did this at SCPAC, which is the South Carolina Coalition, South Carolina Association or
Professional
Appraisers Association. There's also one called NCPAC. In North and South Carolina, almost the same state. Linda is involved with North Carolina, but she also is involved with the South Carolina. She did this exact training, a 2-hour version. Was it a 2 or 3 hour version we did in Charleston? Two. She did this in Charleston. I was like, this is awesome. Can you come and do this online for one of our webinars? And she was like, absolutely. So here we are. Really excited about this. And everybody is in the chats saying where they're tuning in from. We got Florida, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Got a couple people in here from Charlotte, California, Rhode Island, Oregon, lots of people from Florida, Chicago, Texas. I love seeing where everybody is tuning in from. We're going to be pretty, we're not going to be really militant about anything in here. It's going to be casual. I want everybody to kind of settle in. It's a 4-hour course. And we will be taking 10-minute breaks at the top of every hour. Okay, so keep that in mind. However, this being YouTube, you can also just press pause, go get a snack, come back, and then resume. You're just going to be a little bit behind, so it may be a little bit more time if you ask a question before you get an answer. I'm going to be in the chat. This is mostly going to be Linda doing this for you, but I'm going to be in the chat answering any questions that I can answer. Linda, you're from Nebraska, but you now live here in Charlotte. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Putting you on the hot seat there.
No, you're fine. Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be here. And so glad to show you guys the report. But yes, I am with Elite Appraisal Services, and I'm originally from Nebraska, but I am here appraising in Charlotte. I'm a boots on the ground appraiser, just like you all are. I just happen to love teaching you guys, so I also help teach. Yeah, and we have not currently gotten any of these reports yet, but we are ready to go here with our firm. So we're excited to get started on this.
Yeah, there's this is not going to be a 4-hour long commercial for our software, but I do want to tell everybody that we will be using Appraise-It Pro, which is SFREP's software for doing this. We were the first appraisal software, the first of the big 4 appraisal software vendors to be GSC certified. You can do 6 months free with our software. Just go to sfrep.com and be happy to get you set up. I do want to put this up on the screen here. This is my contact information. If you have any questions after this, if you would like to try out Appraise-It Pro, if you just need to ask a question about UAD 3.6, whatever it might be, you can contact me directly, matt@sfrep.com, or you can text me directly, 828-919-9082. Just so that everyone knows, you can call me at that number as well. But I don't tend to answer phone calls because I'm usually pretty busy, but I will be happy to if you text me, even after hours, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. This is YouTube, of course. Most of us are familiar with YouTube. There is some chat that should either be over on the right-hand side or down below. Any questions that you have, go ahead and type them in there. We got a lot of people in here, so if I forget or if I don't see your question, ask it again. I will do my best to answer them. And I am going to turn things over to Linda. Linda, if you want to go ahead and share your screen there, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started.
There you go. You should be able to see Appraise-It Pro. Welcome.
There we go.
Awesome. Okay, you ready for me to go right ahead? Okay, perfect. So yeah, I can't see chat, so Matt's gonna take over that because when I'm teaching this, it's too hard to see too many screens at once. So today we're really gonna focus on one of the biggest things that's come out in the last, decade probably for appraisals. It's a really big change for all of us. It is not as hard as everybody is thinking it is. So make sure that you're, you know, everybody is panicking about it. And that's probably why you're here today, is to learn about it. But it's so simple once you guys get learning it and doing it. And the more you do it, the more practice you have, it's going to be great. So if you have the software today on your computer, or any of the software, open it up and do it along with us today as we're going through it. So that way you guys can kind of see it and practice it as we're doing it. That'll help you guys get one report done today, or at least close to one report. And then the next one's going to be even easier when you open it up. So we're going to actually go through the form today, step by step, so you guys can see it. You can touch it and feel it on your side if you want to, or you can just look at it and, see what the steps are and see how it's going to work. So first off, if you're in here and you want to start like a brand new report, okay, we're going to go to new. And everybody always asks, can I make a template? Yes, you can make your template. You don't have to, because each report, it's going to be the same, verbiage, and you can save your verbiage. So I'll show you guys how to do that. But if you want your template, you're comfortable with your template, you can have it. Not a big deal either way. So when you're going into here, you're going to see, your reports, and you just go to the UAD 3.6. Okay. Down here, there are some pretty cool things that they put in, which are your checklists and your worksheet. So we'll go through those two, which it's really good for you if you are out in the field and not doing it on an iPad. It'll show you some things to do, and we'll get to that as we're going through the form here. But the main form here is the residential, and you're like, okay, well, where is my my condo form? Where is my multifamily form? Where is my manufactured home form? It's all in here. So all we have to do is click on one form. You can double click or create new, however you want to do it. And so this is a blank form. I'm starting out new for you guys, just so you can see it. And then as we're going, through it, you'll see each drop-down menu. And then, we're going right through it. So you don't have your stuff up here like you did before. It's all going to go through here. And so you have your version number, or, what they'll give you, your reference ID. So this is your number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. Their ID, their AMC. That's new. We didn't have that on there before, like their actual ID. And you guys, it's pretty easy to find, or you can get it online for on the national website. Now here's our assignment reason. Okay, what are we doing this for? Okay, so we're going to just say that we are doing a purchase transaction today. Okay, and then our property valuation method. Well, we could do it desktop, we could do it hybrid, external, but we're going to do traditional today. Okay, so then are we doing this in lieu of an inspection? No, we're probably going to inspect the property. And guess what's here? We can put our fee now. Okay, this is what we're getting. And then we can decide whether we're FHA. And if it is FHA, did you see how that little drop down menu came up? Look at that. Now we can put our nice little FHA number in there. Okay. If it wasn't, it'll go away and you won't even see it. Okay. If we have anything else we need here. Now, if it is in green, like that, if it's in blue, it's optional. If it's in green, you're gonna want to put something in there. Okay. So if we add our borrower, okay, so if it comes over, as you first thought it was red, but okay, it's a company or an individual, it's going to change based off of what you put in there. It automatically changes for you. So if we have a company, we have ABC Bank, and then obviously the company is not, or we're going to say the company is not the owner. Okay. We can
Hey,
remove the bar.
real quick,
Yeah.
Linda, someone did ask, because I think this is a good question. They asked about the appraisal version number.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to know what that was. You may have said it, but they may not have heard it.
So I think that this is where you guys are going to start putting, like, if it's the,
Because I think it's the revision number. So if it's like this is the first version or the second version,
right, like,
right?
yeah, like your, and I have seen where they may give you like, because you don't have a lot of room here. Oh yeah, you actually do. I thought it was like, but I think they may give you like version whatever, and then, or version 1, version 2, like for your revision. I haven't seen that, but I bet that.
Yeah, it can be like software versioning. So it can be it could be version 1.1, 1.5, things like
Yeah, that is good. Okay, so then if you have another borrower, your co-borrower, if you have a seller, you can add your seller. And if you have another owner, you can add all of that. So any of that you want to add, you can. Now, if you don't want to and you try and remove it, you just have to confirm that, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, so we've just done our assignment information. We're done. That's our first section. So now we go on to our contract section. And remember, we did say it was a purchase. So this is what it was. This is the new one. This is the old one, right? Okay. Oops, clicked on the wrong one. Okay, so now that we have this, what's the role here? Okay, do we have a lender, appraisal management company? What is it? Okay, so we're doing this one for a bank. So we're gonna put the lender in there, ABC Bank, and then their address, their state, their zip. Uh-oh, what happened? It turned red. So see, that means that there's something wrong. So in here, if it turns red, you have to go back and correct it, right? So that brings us to our, everybody always calls them hotkeys, or these ones are actually your responses. So they're going to be over in your right-hand side, like they usually are pretty much with every software company. You can plug them in there and you can manage your responses. Like, let's say I'm working out of, we know that there's somebody on here from Ohio. Let's say I'm working out of Ohio. Okay, I can manage my responses. And I can save it. Okay, so now I have Ohio saved. Or if I want to change it to South Carolina, I can put South Carolina in there. And you can also do your hotkeys. So if you want to manage South Carolina, like, man, I know I'm in South Carolina more often than not, I'm going to put my F3 hotkey in there. I'm going to save it. And then anytime I go to my state, all I have to do is click F3 and it pops in there. And we're good to go. So you can line them up, what the states you use, and F3, F2, or I'm sorry, F3, F1, or it starts out at F3, F3, F4, F5, whatever you want in there, you can put. Zip code, okay, you actually have to put a zip code in there. So these are the ones I use the most often. I can put it in there, or I can click another one and put it in there. Okay, so now my reds are gone. So I'm clear. Okay, now if I want to add a contact, so here's their the other one, like let's say this was a lender, but I'm going to go ahead and put the appraisal management company on here too. just to be safe. So I'm going to put them on there too, their fees and everything, because we're doing it for both. So we'll put both of them on there. Now, if you want to remove it, you just have to remove it. Now, I have a trainee. I have several trainees. So if I want to add my trainee, this is where I'm going to add them. Okay, we are going to put their name, you can leave their middle initial blank if you want, their level. Okay, so what are they? If they were certified helping you, you can put that in there. This one's a trainee, their ID, their state, and again, this has to be in the way that we put it, and when does their license expire, right? And then here's where you can put your verbiage. So on the verbiage sections, remember how sometimes when things didn't fit, what happened? It bounced it to our supplemental addendum. It's no longer going to do that. It is going to just drop down. So let's say I inspected it with them. I can just put my verbiage in there and go on. Or if I didn't inspect it with them, I'm telling them here, I did not inspect this property. But if you want to keep cruising and you really want to write like a book about it, just keep cruising. Okay. And it's just going to keep dropping down for you as much as you want to write about it. Okay. And then if you had another trainee help you, add it there. Now, if you have some assignment information or scope of work commentary, this is pretty much where I'm going to put something about like if I've got some FHA work that I'm doing, or like it's going to be something particular, like subject to repair, you know, something like that. So I don't want to necessarily, if it, you know, I'm going to put something here, but it's going to depend on what your scope of work is going to be. So for this one, we're going to say that we were doing an FHA, and you know, it did meet the criteria, but we also say that it was new construction, remember? So here's where we're going to put that information too. Okay. So then under assignment information, this is where we're going to add that photo. So if you're doing it out in the field on your iPad, this is where like your first photo is going to come up. So maybe the front of your home. Now, when you're out in the field and you're doing it on your iPad, these will automatically pop into your report. So you won't have to do that. It'll just be there. But if you have to add it from your computer, which you do not have to use your iPad, I do strongly recommend it because it makes it quicker for you. But if you're not and you're old school and you're using pen and paper and a clipboard and you have a million things in your hand and your pen in your mouth and you're, you know, walking around the house, that's okay. You can add them from your computer. So if I'm going in there and I'm adding a file in there and I'm going to put in a picture, just like you normally do, it's going to pop up something like this. And you're just going to put go find your photo in there. And ooh, yeah, this is a good one. So we're just going to put that and I'm going to paste it from my clipboard. Possibly. Or actually, hold on, drag photo here. No, it should just paste. Maybe I don't have it. There we go.
And this is a little specific to Appraise-It Pro. For those of you who are using something other than Appraise-It Pro, like Win Total or something, this may be a little bit different. And we will, because I just want to interrupt you real quick, we are also going to have the ability to place PDFs in here. The thing is that everything that goes into the report has to be a JPEG. So it's going to have to be converted to JPEG. So if you go putting a 30-page PDF in here, you're not going to want to do that because that's just going to balloon the size of your report. So anytime you're putting something in there, it has to be a JPEG. We will allow you to put, within the month, you'll be able to browse a PDF in here, and then we'll just convert it to a series of JPEGs for every page for you. And we will also, right now you'll see below the window there where it says assignment information exhibits, it says one image. We will also have thumbnails in there in the next month or so. So you'll be able to see what you actually have attached in there.
Yep. So, yep, you can put it in there. And then if you want to make a comment here, you can. And then paste from clipboard, close, and then it's going to go in there. You won't see it, but you will at the end. Okay. And you can add more than one here if you want to. You don't have to add just one. So guess what, guys? That's page 1. We're done. And it took not even 10 minutes, I don't think. So that's page 1. Now we're on to subject property, okay? Which we're gonna go with our street address is 123 Main Street. And then our city is Concord. Our state is South Carolina. And our zip code is one we picked over here. So unit identifier. This is going to be like if you've got another unit or unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, you know, something like that. But if it's like a condo, it'll be a little bit, it'll look different because it's a condo. Okay. Here's where I typically have my front photo of the report, which if you're in the field, it'll come in here. If not, you can put it in here. Is there an alternate physical address? Yes or no. If there is, you're going to add it. So let's say you are doing a property. We've got 123 Main and we've got 123 Main A. Okay, because you're actually doing both lots, and you're combining them, but they're on 2 separate. So you can add that address in here too, just so that you've got it, or the bank has it. And then, so you can do 123 Main A, and then the same. Ooh, I'm so used to hitting equals there. So then we're doing Concord, South Carolina, and our zip. Okay, and so that way they know that we're actually doing 2 parcels, but we're doing 1 appraisal report. Okay, and so now we have our county. Now, the ones that you see over here that already have your responses or quick links or whatever, those are the ones that are actually going to transfer automatically from your 2.6 or your older one, right? Is it 2.6? Yeah. So it'll transfer over from that report from your old one to the new one, and it'll fit in that link. I don't think there's very many that do that. However, this is where I show you how you can do it very easily. What I do is when I'm in my old report, like this, and let's say I am in the subject part, like we're in the, I don't even know what we're in right now. Yeah, subject. So let's say I'm in the subject part here, and we're just doing, let's just say we're doing the contract section. What I do is if I have all these quick links over here, I click them and I copy it. So I right click, I go to copy, and then I open up a Word document. Okay, this is my Word document. And then I find the section that it was in. So I've got subject, contract, neighborhood, site. And then I come over here and I right click and I paste. Okay. And then that way you have your links all already in a Word document, so that all you have to do is when you go to your new report, this one here, let's say I have to put that in here, I can just copy from my Word document and paste it right into my new report, and then I'm going to save it. So then I'll have it in my new report already. And then I can just keep moving on. And you're only going to have to do that once. So yes, your first few are going to take a little bit longer because you're saving everything again, but you're only going to have to do that once, right? And obviously that's not the neighborhood name, but I was just showing you. So if we're in South Carolina, we'll just do a county and then neighborhood name. So here's where you're going to do your neighborhood name that it is. And remember, if it's green, I'm probably going to have to put something in there. So are they attached, detached? But I'm going to leave it blank for now. And actually, neighborhood name is blue, so I don't have to fill it in if it's blue. Green, you do. So are we doing a cost to repair? So total cost and itemized. So you will have to fill this in if you're doing something, but if we're not going to do anything, then we can just say no here. If we are doing a cost to repair, we're going to have to say yes, we are doing it, and here's our total cost. Okay. Do we have an ADU, right? Is it already there? Or are we excluding the ADU? Are we using the accessory dwelling unit? How many units is it? Do we have any outbuildings? So like we've got 5 barns on this property. We're going to put that there's 5 barns. Okay. I'm sorry, this is the cost repair. So if we have to repair them, how much is it going to cost? Okay. And we're going to put that in there. Or no, this is the number. And so then how many are there? And then the manufactured homes, how many are there? And we're going to put them in there. And so if you don't have any, you don't have to worry about putting them in there, right? I don't know why it's not deleting it. Maybe I selected one up top. And then are we in a planned unit development? So yes or no. If we click yes and no, is the property in a project, condominium, you know, yes, no. And if you click something like that, if you click yes, then it's automatically going to click some for you because it automatically knows that yes, it's in a project, no, it's not in the planned, and no, it's not a co-op, right? Like, so it'll automatically check some for you depending on what you check, and then some it won't, right?
Hey, real quick, Kelly is asking, where would you put detached garages?
It's coming.
Okay.
Yep. So then the property is in a PUD, we're not in a project, so then it's automatically going to check off these for no, because we're not in a project. So then are we on, nope, Native American lands? Is the subject site owned in common? Nope. Is the homeowner responsible for arts? This is new. Homeowner responsible for all exterior maintenance of the dwelling. Well, yeah, we're owning the home, so we're responsible for it. But sometimes this comes into play if you're in this PUD HOA and they're covering the expenses for outside. So they want to know that. And we did say this is new construction. So again, a box comes up if it's new construction. What phase are we? So are we under contract? Are we proposed? Are we complete? Right now we are, or I'm sorry, under construction. Right now we're just proposed. There's nothing there, okay? And do we have any special assessments? Not right now. Okay, so now we're looking at the dwelling, okay? This is for your property, dwellings, the name, and this is if it's manufactured. So we're not gonna know, or I'm sorry, like For a new build, you can put it here, like who's my builder. If it's a manufactured home, you can check it here. That's going to change some stuff up here. But if it's not, then no. Living units, the name, and you can add it. And then here's where you can add your ADU. Okay. If there is another dwelling unit, here's where you can add it. So like, let's say we have our normal dwelling unit, single family, builder, or, 2-story home, something like that. But let's say they also have an additional single family home. You can add it here, okay? Or your ADU on your single family unit. So then here's your outbuildings. Here's where you get to add them. And this is going to be where Kelly had the garage, the ADU garage, the barn. So this isn't the main garage. This is just the ADU so far. If we've got our barn or boathouse, pool house, anything like that, that's where all of this is going to come in. A lot of, pools in the area, or guest houses, pool houses, stuff like that. Or if we've got something different, it's other, and then you can just describe what that other is, okay? Or if we've got like an office for an outbuilding, we can put that in there too. Now, here's our property rights.
Hey, real quick question. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Because I'm going to keep interrupting.
No, you're fine.
Scroll back up where it says dwellings. Yep. Someone was asking about the name field.
Yep.
They were asking what goes in there. I was like, okay, single family.
Yeah, I would put like single family, or I have seen some put like 2-story traditional, like that.
Okay.
They weren't real clear on what to put there, but what we normally put, or if we want to put that it's like a colonial or something like that, you could put that.
Yeah, the thing about this is that with the GSEs, when they want something specific in the dynamic form, they give you a pull down. If they're giving you a text box, they're leaving that up to you on what you want to call it or anything. So.
Yep. And is it blue or green? It's blue. So actually, you don't even have to put anything if you don't want to. So guess what? Just leave it blank. You don't even have to worry about
the color key, because a couple people asked about this. The color key now on her screen, it's a little cut off, but the color key is in the lower right-hand corner. And it is going to, you'll see that if it's green, then it is a formatted, or in this case, required field. Formatted would be for UAD 2.6 report. And then if it's blue, it's just an inactive field.
Yep.
So what she's saying is anytime you see a green field, you got to fill that one out.
Yep. So as we're going through it, yeah, if it's blue, let's save us some time. We don't have to do it. I'm just showing you everything just in case. But yeah, if it's blue, guys, I'm probably just going to leave it because that's one more thing I could get wrong and get a revision on. So yeah, I'm not going to do it. So property rights, we know we have to do it. We're going to put it on there. So all rights included in appraisal, usually, right? If not, which ones aren't? Do we, we give away our air rights. We give away our water rights, our timber rights, which one is it? But nope, we didn't give away any. Did we lease out our mineral rights? Yes or no? Okay, typically we don't, but hey, there could be some. I guess I say typically, but I'm in North and South Carolina, so I don't know what the other states do. Legal description, okay, text or image. This I really, really like, okay? So if you want to text it, you absolutely can, okay? Put it all in there. If you don't, guess what I do? I take the deed and, oh, that's one thing I didn't pull up. I take the deed and I take a snip of the deed where it says my legal description or, the big, long mets and bounds. I'll take a snip of that. I'll put it right in here. And then guess what? It's done. It's just one snip and I'm going to put the deed in there anyway. So or at least in my work file. So you're done. Or you can fill it all in if you really want to.
There's a couple of people asking about the number of the outbuildings. They're saying like, oh, I can't change that number. And I was saying that the number is set by the amount of outbuildings that you designate here, correct?
Yes. Right. So see, I just added 2 here.
Mm-hmm.
Outbuilding 1, outbuilding 2, then it changed it here.
Right.
To 2. Now, if, let's say I take it away. I'm going to take all the outbuildings away.
And
it changes it to 0.
Yeah. I've had a couple of people actually ask me about that. And that's just one of the idiosyncrasies of how you know, that's an Appraiser Pro thing. In Win Total, they may allow you to change that, but we're setting that number and not letting you edit it so that there can't be a discrepancy between you say there's 2, but then you don't have it below. So,
which is nice.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And if there is a discrepancy, like, because I think up top I selected that there was an ADU, and somewhere else I selected that there was another dwelling or something. So I have something wrong. So it's red because obviously I did something.
Correct.
So yeah,
and just for everybody to be aware, in Appraiser Pro, it has 2 types of validation that are happening. It has a real-time validation, which is checking you as you go along. That's what she was referring to, where it'll turn red. Then there is a comprehensive validation that you can invoke by hitting the little green check mark that's next to validate at the top of the validator. If you do it now, it's going to freak out. But that's generally for when you're done with the report to run a final check. Then before you actually send or before you actually create your package file that will be uploaded to the AMCs or the lender or whoever, it's also going to run another validation locally. Then it's going to send your report up to the GSE server for it to be running, for them to run a validation on it. That way, by the time you actually send the final report to the GSEs, it should never get kicked back, because Appraise-It Pro is going to send it up to the GSE server and have it automatically validated by them to make sure there are no problems with it.
Awesome. Yep. Cool. I actually didn't know that part, so I'm going to write that down because that is really cool. Okay, so then subject property commentary, again, it's blue. You don't have to put anything if you don't want to, or you can. Here is where you can put your images of like your exhibits. So let's say I did have an outbuilding, I did have barns, a pool, whatever. Those images are going to come in here, or again, you can add them from your computer if you want to. We are now done with subject property. That is it. Okay. Now we're going to move on to site. Okay. And here's our size. So we know that if it's under an acre, we're going to put it in square feet. If it's over an acre, we're going to put it in acres. So we've got 1 acre of land. Okay. Here's dimensions, but guess what, guys? It's blue. We no longer have to stick in those stupid dimensions. Okay. I hated that. We don't have to do it anymore. Am I still going to put the map in? If it says I have to, but if not, then no. But I'm not going to put the dimensions in. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. Now, if we had that second parcel, we are going to add it. Okay. But if we don't, then no, I'm not going to do that. So here's our parcel number. We've got it. We have to put that parcel number in there still. Okay. Zoning compliance. So are we legal, illegal? If we're illegal, it's going to drop down some menus here of why we're illegal. But if we're legal, we're good to go. It does want to know the zoning code and the description. So like, what are we, right? And it does drop your box down so you can give it as much information as you want to about what that zoning description actually says. And the GSE said they don't want just a little tiny blurb. They want what it is. Like, what does your code stand for? What is R8? what is, what does it mean? What's on the lot? How big is it? Or what can you have on the lot? That sort of thing. So they're wanting it a little bit bigger than some people just put single family, or something like that. They want you to talk about it. And then here is our zoning class. I'm red for some reason, but I'm not sure why. And then is it continuous? Yeah, we're all continuous. If no, it's going to tell us what the divided element is, right? So then the property address, or the access. So if you have an airstrip, like if you're really lucky and you have an airstrip right in the back, so you can, fly to all your inspections, we're going to put that. If you don't, then what are we on? Are we on a private street? And if we are, then we need to know about your maintenance agreement. Okay. Is there a no maintenance agreement? And they want to see it. They want a picture of it. If it's not a no maintenance agreement, you select no. And is it typical for the market? Yes or no. And then they want you to describe it. But again, it's in blue, so we don't have to actually describe it. Is it a non-residential use? If you click no or yes. So if you click yes, it's going to ask you some more questions. If you click no, you're good to move on. Do we have anything that's influencing our site? Okay. If not, we're just going to leave it blank. But if we do, they want to know what. Like, are we on a golf course? Okay. And yeah, it's right on site. It's right behind me. Does it have an impact? Well, that's kind of beneficial, right? And then we don't have to have a comment, but they would like to see a photo of that. So take a photo of the backyard and your golf course. Okay, and then you can add more if you want. Now, do we have any environmental stuff? Like, do you have a landfill in your backyard, right? Do you have some radon going on? I mean, you wouldn't know if there was radon unless the inspector was there. Water contamination, you're on Lake Norman, probably don't want to drink it, things like that. They want to know, but if there isn't anything, you can remove it and move on. Right? And then you can put your site commentary if you want to, but again, you don't have to. So if I've got a busy road, I could put it. If I've got, typical, I can put it, but again, it's blue. You don't have to put anything. Your view. If you have to add something in your view, you can put it here. So we are on a busy highway. We've got some industrial view. I'm industrial. It's my primary view. It's right across the street, so it's pretty full. And does it affect me? I mean, maybe a little, might be a little adverse. And so I'm going to take a picture of that, industrial unit right across the street from me and show it. And then you can comment on it, that we've got that, industrial park right in front of me. Or if you've got really pretty mountain views, you can comment on that. Hazards. Okay, they want to know at least this first part. Are you in a hazard? So what would that be? Like, are we in a FEMA zone, right? And how are we going to find that out? Well, we run our awesome map that SFREP gives us to run in our flood maps, which obviously it's not going to run for me because I'm on 123 Main Street in Concord and we don't have that. But, oh, look, it found a match. We're going to get the map. Wow, look at them. So we're going to run that awesome map. We're going to get our flood data. And we're not in one. So yay. I'm going to then transfer my data over and I'm going to close it. And then I'm done because we're not in one. And we click no hazard noted and we move on to the next thing. Okay. And then if we have an easement, if you guys do a lot of easement stuff, this is where you're going to put it. If you have an encroachment, that neighbor's barn is half on my yard, I'm gonna tell about it because he's gonna get that off, but I'm gonna let you know that it's in there and what it is. So we've got a building on it. It's bordering or it's actually on my property. What's my impact? Well, that's adverse because you're sitting on my property, and I'm gonna show a picture of it. And then you can comment about it if you want. Utilities, okay. Do we have some that, and again, I think this one we have to add. Let me double check. I don't know. I think we do. I don't think so. Oh, we do. So on this one, we do have to add this one. So utilities are we gas or electric, and is it public or private, right? And then is broadband internet available? This one, oh, sorry. This one, a lot of people had a problem with because of the how do we know this? Like, what are we gonna do? What's happening? Like, the how do we figure out the broadband? Like,
and it's
how do
also
we know?
important to know that the GSEs, when they wrote this question, things like Starlink, Amazon, I forget Amazon's name, Amazon Y or something. I don't know. There's a couple of competing programs out there, but anything satellite based is not considered broadband, which is incorrect because obviously Starlink should be considered as broadband, but for right now it's not. I have a feeling they're going to change that. And you may have were about to bring this up, but you can go to broadband. Let's see, let me get it right. It's broadband. It's broadbandmap.fcc.gov. In my travels, that has been the most accurate list, and you can punch in the address there, and it will give you all of the different broadband services that are available, whether that's like T-Mobile, 5G, or if it's Verizon 5G, or if it's wired like fiber or cable or DSL, or if satellite. And there is a distinction between satellite being something that is geostationary satellite service, what's the name of it? HughesNet, something like that, and something like Starlink, which is low Earth orbit. Which the difference is that low Earth orbit is faster with less latency. Anyway, this is all to say, I think this is going to get removed. But they're definitely going to be changing the way. I personally would say that Starlink is broadband, but as far as I know right now, the GSEs do not consider any satellite service to be broadband.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that sometimes on your MLSs, it will say it. So like if, Google is there or whatever, sometimes your MLS will say what internet they have. Another thing you could do is just ask the agent or the homeowner, hey, what internet do you use? Or when you're in the house taking pictures, you can look at their box. Like my box says Google on it. So I know I've got good, or they know I have Google Fiber. So, okay, we've got internet. So yeah, they may, or I don't see that staying on it for very long just because it's a pain. But so we've got that in there. If you want to add some more, you can. Like I want to say the sanitary sewer is private. We've got a well. So then they're going to ask, is it, well, we just said private. So public sewer available. So they're going to say, especially if this is FHA, they're going to say, okay, do we want, can they get access to public sewer? Yes or no. Okay. Is it shared? Yes or no? And the impact, right? It's neutral. This area, always has it. So, and what is your sewer system? Well, we're on a septic. Okay, and we're going to click yes. So then the items below represent the as-is condition and the effective date of this report, right? So this is your defect, right? Do we have a defect? Well, we might, okay? And is it structurally? Well, we have new construction, so we're not going to have a defect. But if we did, we need an inspection on it. We're going to put it, and we're going to put our picture of what we need. So let's say our base, our deck is really bad. So we have a deck, or the feature is the decking. The location is the rear, and the description is wood rod, right? So we're going to put that in there. And it doesn't affect the structure, the soundness of it, but we really want it to be a repair, right? Instead of an inspection, because we could tell this is what it needed. So we're going to do the repair, and then we're going to show them that deck. That's all they had. So that's all we really need to put. Now here is where we're going to put our other images. And then this is where our flood map went. So you can put that, your rear images or whatever other images you have will go here. So this is property boundaries. And why is it? I think that's going to populate over from somewhere because it's not letting me do anything. Whoop. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's a picture of what's around, and you can put that there. And then you can put your caption, like no survey was provided, you know, or whatever you want to put. This, instead of, you know, how we used to have to type in the north, south, east, west, we don't have to do that anymore. So you can just put what's around it. This is just a horrible picture, but it's just to show you a picture goes there. Okay, and our site is done. So now we have assignment, information, subject property, and site, all done. Next is features. So what do we have? So do we have anything extra? And this is only for a disaster, right? So unless you're in a place like Nebraska where it's common to have a storm shelter or something like that. Actually, my trainee and I were driving down the interstate the other day, and we saw a tornado. Like, it looked like it was a train car, but it said tornado shelter on it. And I don't know where they were going or what they were doing, but they had a big QR code on the side. So obviously you could maybe buy it or get it or something. So we might be seeing those. But yeah, you can put, you know, whatever it is here. All right. If you've got, sometimes the water heater strapping is a thing, especially if it's in the code for new construction. You know, you can put that there. If nothing, you don't have to put anything, and you can put a picture if you want to. Now, energy efficient and green features. This we knew was going to be a thing because it's starting to come up more and more. And this is in the red, so you have to put it in here. Do we know if they have any? Yeah, it's new construction. They're going to have it. So now they want to know, what is it? Okay, so we have solar panels, and they just are building the house, so they're leasing them. Okay, and the financing arrangement, nothing. Owned, yes or no? Okay, do we own them? Yes or no? If no, are we gonna, you know, talk about it in the value? Are they leased? And then it'll automatically put a mark. Their power purchase agreement. That's kind of, it's acting a little wonky. But okay, owned, no, we don't own them. And then you can add more if they have it. So are there any known building certificates? Like, what do we have for building certificates? A lot of times we'll get the builder certificate when they're done, or if they have some energy certificates, you can have them. So yep, and they want to see it, right? Like, what is it? Or no, we don't have any, and nope, we don't have any ratings because it's a brand new construction and we just don't have them yet. We could go off of what they predict it to be, but we don't actually have them. Are they going to impact anything? Well, I don't know, because it's blue and I don't have to fill you out. So, but if you did want to, you could. It's beneficial, and why? And then you can put your solar panel picture here. Now, here's our vehicle storage. Okay, this is where we're coming into that. We have got a garage. We have got 4 parking, not one, we've got 4 parking spaces. And how are we attached? Well, we have got built-in 4 garages with 2,000 square feet. And we're going to show that photo. Do we have a defect? If we do, we're going to add that defect here, right? Where is it at? The description. Is it structural? Yes or no? We're going to figure that out. If not, we can just delete it and move on, right? Now, if we have another one, like let's say we had a 2-car attached, okay, but then we also had a 2-car detached. We would want to add a separate section for that detached, okay, and put that in there too, and your square foot and how many it was, okay, and another picture to show our detached. And then if you want to put commentary, you can, and your photos are going to go here. So then, do we have any amenities? So like, what would be our amenities, right? Technically, anything that you would have put in your form here in the grid, you know, under here. What did we list here, right? Did we list a pool? Did we list a boat slip? You know, what went here? So now we're going to add it here. Do we have an outdoor accessory? They're only giving you certain options. Okay, this is all they care about. If it's not on here, they don't care. So outdoor kitchen, outdoor fireplace, fence, okay, irrigation system, something like that. How many, what's the material, and the area, okay? However, those are all in blue, so you do not have to fill those out. They just want to know what it is. And then a picture, right? If you have an outdoor living, they want to know, again, what is it? Do we have a deck? Okay. And again, if you want to fill this out, you can. Do we have a water feature? Well, yeah, we're going to have an in-ground pool, okay? But they only give you certain options. What do we have? In-ground pool, in-ground sauna, outdoor shower, and that sort of thing. That's it. Photos, they want to know that. Now, do we have a whole house amenity? What is something there? Like an elevator, a fireplaces, right? We count those in there. Do we have wood stoves? Something like that. They want to know that. We do have a fireplace. Let's see. Indoor fireplace. How many? We've got 5. And I'm going to just say that they're made out of brick. And we're not going to put the square foot, but then I'll put a photo of them. But I didn't have to put these 2 if I didn't want to. But for grid purposes, I'm going to put it in there. So you can add some more. And here is where, if you have something else that you really need to put in there, you can. This is where you can put your other, right? This is what they're talking is other. But if it's really something outside of what they said that you have to put in your grid or something, this is where you're going to put it. Okay. And then you have to describe it. So basketball court. Oops. Jeez. Okay. Whatever.
We may want to go ahead and pause.
Yep.
So that we can do our 10-minute break. So everyone, go get your coffee, go get your soda. I'm a soda drinker. So get whatever it is you need. Bathroom break. We're going to take a 10-minute break. You can continue asking questions. We're gonna get some of these questions answered when we come back from the break. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and we will reconvene in 10 minutes. Thanks, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody got their drinks and snacks and coffee and everything. I'm Matt Johnson with SFREP, also here with Linda Nelson, and we're going to be going into our second hour of the deep dive into UAD 3.6. Once again, ask any questions that you have in our chat. You can also text any questions that you might have. You can text them directly to me, and I'll that I can get them and answer me. This is if you're not signed into YouTube, or if you're actually doing this, if you're watching this after the fact, because we are going to have this archived, so you can go back and you can rewatch this. You can text me directly 828-919-9082, or you can email matt@sfrep.com, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have, or I'll pass them on. Now, a couple that we had right before we went to break and during the break. Let's see, Linda. It says someone was asking about they keep emailing Fannie Mae's help desk email address. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what's going on over there. I know they're busy, so I guess hopefully you'll get an answer back on that one soon.
Yeah, they're really busy.
Yeah, I know they're super busy. Is there space for a screened pool enclosure? And then they said, oh, I see it, caged pool. That is not what that is. So screened in enclosure is something that I've brought to the GSE's attention. This is a uniquely Florida thing for the most part. This is those, if you ever go to Florida, the screened in like thing that goes over a pool to keep alligators out and keep lizards out of your pool, and then keep, bugs and everything out. They do not have any type of accommodation for that. So I brought it to their attention. I know a lot of other people have too. So hopefully they're going to add that in soon, because it's not an availability for them right now. But I mean, like Florida is what, the third or fourth most populous state in the country. They need to, that's a big thing for them. Let's see. Someone said not there yet in the report, but remaining economic life box does not seem to populate unless cost of purchase utilized. Is there a workaround? I'm not, and I don't think, Linda, you really understood. Maybe you can, Richard, you can text us back on that in the chat and clarify what you mean. Like, do you mean we're not there yet in going over the report? I'm not sure. And then someone asks, and this is a good one too. We are so confused on the new form if we actually have to measure cubic area of the home or rooms. And what about measuring each window? Saw that on the report. Yikes. I'll take this one. Those are completely optional, so don't freak out about that. The only time that you're going to have to do the cubic area of the volume of the house, or even the area of the windows, is if that's specifically asked for by the lender or the whoever's, lender agency, whoever's wanting the appraisal. The way I interpret it is, I lived in Western North Carolina, so you would have, I'm from Charlotte, but I used to live in Western North Carolina for like 18 years. And there, up on the mountains, you'll have these houses that have these really open, like open to below type floor plans. They're like 2 stories high, 2-story windows. I'm thinking that's when they're going to want to know stuff like that. They want to know, do you have these giant floor to ceiling 2-story high picture windows? And then also, is it a very voluminous house with very, very large ceilings? Then they may ask for it, but in most circumstances, I don't think that's ever going to really be asked. I believe that's how you understand it too, Linda?
Yeah, it is. I've never had anybody ask for that.
Yep. And then Uncle Buck, great movie, said, thank you for the clarification on the screened-in pool. Yeah, that's the way I understand it, Uncle. So yeah, they're going to have to add an accommodation for that for sure. All right, if you want to go ahead and reshare your screen, Lindy, we can continue on with this.
Sure thing. Okay, you should see the report.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, yeah, so under other, you can put it in here, other screened, and then you can put the area in there if you want to, and then show your photo for that. So that would be where you put it, and we're done with features. So that's it. That's all you have to do for features. Add them in there. If you got a basketball court, whatever, you can put everything in there for it. Somebody said something about a fence, Matt, a picture of a fence.
Yeah. Someone asked, are they are they requiring a picture of the fence?
No, I mean, you're probably going to get a backyard photo anyway, so it'll be in there, but
I would. I mean, I would. You know,
yeah,
if it's enough for you to mention it, and if it's affecting the value of the house, I would go ahead and snap a photo of it for sure.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to put it in there, and you know, if it's not a big deal or it's really, you know, a bad fence, then maybe not. But yeah, I mean, I always take it anyway in my rear photo, so um, yeah. Now we're on to the lovely sketch that everybody is talking about. So there are so many different ways that we can do this sketch, right? A lot of you are pen and paper. Okay, fine. A lot of you are switching over to iPad, which is amazing and great. Some of you had already switched over, and I know that we were already using the great tool called Inspect a Lot. That is no longer there, right? Or is it still? No, I don't even know on the old form because we started using the new one. So on the old form, we were using Inspect a Lot, and it was great. We loved it from our iPad. Now everybody is switching over to Instaplan, and it is really good. It's your scan to sketch type program. Um, for some reason, I could not get it to come up on my computer to show you. And so I can't, but it's your scan to sketch. You walk around, you do um, your scanning, and then it's going to come right from your report or right from your iPad into your report. So you can, you know, finish your report on your iPad if you want to, or you can, you know, put it into your computer and finish it on your computer like we've been doing.
And
So
this
either
really
way,
depends on, because we know that there are a lot of you in here that are not SFREP customers, and that's completely fine. We'd love to have you, but that's completely fine. It really depends. For SFREP, we will have two mobile apps that are available right now. Instaplan. So if you want to look at Instaplan, because it's a iOS app and iOS only, or iPad and iOS only, so she can't probably pull it up. We do have a video on it on our YouTube, but if you go to instaplan.ai, we don't charge for the integration for that, but you would have to pay them directly through in-app purchases to use that app. But it is a great AI-enabled app. Think of Kubicasa. If Kubicasa didn't have to send your sketch overseas for 24 hours. So you get it does the same thing and you get it back instantaneously. It uses AI. It's a great app. It ends up being like $6 or $7 per appraisal. Well worth it. The other one is going to be Apex Portal. We will have that later this summer. It's going to be more of a traditional app experience where you can just, you know, hand draw your sketch on your device in the field. It'll work on Android. It'll work on Windows. It'll work on iPads and iPhones and Android phones. It'll work on anything. So that's coming as well.
okay, yeah, and Cubicasa I know charges at least $15 a sketch, so it is cheaper. So, and I've used Cubicasa, so it's so easy. You just scan each room, takes, you know, 10 minutes, less than that, really, and you're in there. But you do have to wait 24 hours to get your scan back. So your report could be done, but you're still waiting. This one, it's instant, it's in there. So my photos are in there, my sketches in there. I'm done. I can go home and do nothing. Not sure, but still. So how are we measuring? Guys, we're always measuring in ANSI most of the time. And then here are additional sketches. So here is where your floor plans and stuff will show up. If you have anything else you want to put here, you can. Just you know, send your point home. Otherwise, you're done, and that's it for sketch. So it's a pretty simple, easy process to do your sketch. Now your dwellings. So again, if you noticed, your first 4, assignment, subject, property, site, and features, were your longest 3 or 4. Now your sketch, your dwellings, and as we go through a few more, they're a little bit shorter. So if you're going through it, you'll notice a few of these pages is only like one thing. So it might look like there's a lot over here, but really it's not, because some of these just have one little option on them. So, and you can click over here to get through your tabs if you want to do it in a different order. Today, I'm following it in order, that like you're supposed to go through it. But if you jump around, you can. Okay, so functional issues. Do we have any? Like our ceiling height? Do we have anything under that 7-foot height or basement? Things like that. What is our, do we have a problem? Do we have a floor plan that, it got some functional obsolescence in there? Is it non-conforming? Like, is it an over improvement? I've got a $5 million house and a $200,000 PUD, like, what is it? If we don't have any, we're saying none. If we've got an over improvement, we can say over improvement, and we're just going to explain it, right? And, we really can't show a picture of the over improvement unless we put our $5 million house and show it right next to our $250,000 house. They could probably tell that it's an over improvement. Okay. Next, here is where we are going to, rate our property. And again, this is going to be just like our other form, right? So what do we have? We've got Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. We're going to say our home is a Q2, right? We've got our overall condition as a C1 because it's new construction. Now this is green, so they want you to fill this out, right? So again, let's say I've got my quick links in here. This is for a 3-4. I'm just going to put that in there, right? Now, if I wanted it to be for a new construction, I can go back to my original form. I can go back to my comments, and I can go back to my, where I put my comments in, and I want to save it. So you can have both forms up at the same time, one on each screen, and say, okay, I've got a new construction here. I want to save that comment. You can also use Control C. Again, Control C if you don't want to right click copy. And then I'm going to go back to my new report, and I'm going to get rid of that one, and I'm going to Control V. Control V will paste it, or you can right click paste, okay? And it will put that in there for you, and then you can save it. I don't know why it pops up the old one. Let's see. Oh, you have to click off and then click on it again, and it'll show up the new one, right? And then you can put new construction. Save it, and then now your new construction one is in there, okay? And then you won't have to go back to your old report. You've already got it in there for the next time, okay? And this is why it's really good. You don't have to have a template. You can just always start fresh each time, and then you don't have to worry about a revision request because you accidentally put the wrong something in there. Like I did put the Q4, Q3 in there, and it was really a Q2 or whatever it was because I used a template. They're really intended to use as a new report each time. So, all right, these are all in red. We have to use it. What is my highest and best use? What are the 4 highest and best uses, right? Are we legal? Are we physical? Financially feasible? Maximally productive? Those are our 4. If one of these 2 are wrong, what is it? Or I'm sorry, one of the 4 are wrong, it's not the highest and best use, right? However, we're just going to say it is, okay? And is it the highest and best use of the subject? Yep, we're good to go, okay? And then you can put commentary in here if you want to, but you don't have to. So I can put my commentary in there, or I don't have to, okay? And then picture or whatever if you need to. Okay. That's it for your evaluation. Pretty simple. Project information. So remember how we started to fill it out on that page 1 of the assignment? Anything now going forward that we filled out on the assignment page will follow us throughout the rest of the report. So we knew that it was in a planned urban development, right? Or a planned unit development. Where did we get that? How did we know that? Okay. We're going to say MLS, plat map, appraise. You can click all of these and they're all going to show up there. Okay. What is our monthly amount? Well, it's $400 a month. Okay. What's included in that 400? Right? Water. Okay. Or other. If you click other, you can add it. Is there anything else included or an amenity? Okay. Oh yeah, we've got lots of amenities in here. We have got a built-in pool. We're gonna have a fitness area. Oh yeah, it's also gated. Let's see. It's a gated community, and that's why we're paying $400 a month for it, because we have all this stuff. Now you can show a picture. A lot of times you can also get pictures right off of the listing because they already have it on there. I use those because they're there. And the picture rule has changed, so you can use some of that. Let's see. If you have any more amenities, you can just keep adding them, right? Now, it's a new development. Is that developer still in control of the property? Yes or no? You notice boxes come down if I put yes or no. Yeah, they are. Do I have to put if there's an impact? No, it's blue. There's really no impact because they're still just doing the street. So, it's neutral. Like, it doesn't really matter. And I'll just put, they're still working on the streets. Not a big deal.
And remember, with these blue fields, if she doesn't fill it, if she just leaves it blank, then on the printed version of this, it just won't be there, because this is a dynamic report. It's not like UAD 2.6 where those fields are there no matter what. If it's if you just leave it blank and you don't fill it out, then it basically is not printed.
Right. They won't see any of this here on the report because I'm not going to fill it out, so you won't see it. Are there any legal? Nope, nope, nope. So, okay. I put no and then common space yes. So then it wants to know what that percentage of common space is and is there an impact. So if I click no on everything, then it tells me, oops, you clicked no, but you put something in there. You need to take that out because you put something in there. It does make you fill out this part. Is there any special assessments? None, existing, or proposed. Okay. And then you can move on, right? Okay, next up we have our market. Okay.
And notice as she's opening up these different sections, now this is specific to Appraiser Pro, but those up at the very top, there are those tabs there. She can leave them open, or when she's done with a section, she can click on the little X to close it. Of course, that's not going to remove it from the report. It's just she's no longer looking at that.
Yep. So I'm leaving them open so you can see what we've all completed. However, I can go back to this, click over here, and I can go back to here and be like, oops, I missed something. What did I miss? Okay, or whatever, but we're going to go through that at the end. But I can go back and be like, oh, what was site? What was that feature? I can't remember. So I can go back to here, or I can just pick it from here and be like, oh, I did the sketch, so I'm done. I'm clicking off the sketch. I've done the site. I'm done. Yep. Okay. So then market area boundary. So that is in red. So we do have to fill that out. What are we going to put here? Like, we don't have to put that north, south, east, west thing anymore. But what is it? Okay, it's typical. All right. It's composed of single family. It's, it's normal price range. It's, it's actually urban, it's rural. What is it? Like, what is your market area boundary, right? They want to know that. If you want to put your search criteria in there, you can. And then they want to know here, what's your matrix? So when you pulled that, your 1004 NC, this is kind of the information you're looking at here. How many active listings were there? How many pending sales were there? We're looking back in months. We're going 12 months back. We had 10 listings that are active. And once you put that in, they want to know your medians. So how many days on the market, your lowest price, your median price, and they want to know your highest list price, right? And then how many pending sales do we have? So that means how many are under contract, right? Well, we've got 2, okay? Then they want to know how long, 12 months, and the sales look back period was also 12 months. I went 12 months back. And then they want to know again, what's your lowest, right? So $12, $13, and $14, right? Are we in a distressed market? So are we going up? Are we going down? It's not no more median or under. So here was your thing before. We had to fill out this whole thing for neighborhood. This is gone. You no longer have to do percent land use. And the 1 unit housing changed to this, right? This isn't there anymore, and this isn't there anymore. They don't care. They want to know this. So nope, we're not distressed. We're great. Graphics, you can put that in there, or graphs, you can put those in there if you want to, but they're not requiring you to. Like on the last, well, they said it for a while that you had to put graphs in there, right? They don't actually require that anymore. They took that request away, so you don't have to. Like, you do not have to put that in there. I typically don't. But since SFREP makes it so easy to do, I usually do download it. So, and it just does the graphs for you. So what I do is I go to, whoops, something just closed on me. Oh, I don't think it's in there yet. And Matt, that will be available still, right? The market update.
Yeah, market analysis is going to be available imminently, like within days of right now.
Okay.
And then they were actually asking about Profit.ai will also be available. Once again, these are these quality of life improvements that are coming. And someone was asking about TrueTrax, DataMaster, Spark. So Spark got bought by TrueTrax. We have a Spark. We are the only that I believe we're the only ones currently with a direct Spark integration for UAD 3.6. TrueTrax is also coming. And then DataMaster is working on their integration with us for the UAD 3.6. It's already available for the UAD 2.6. And then Profit.ai, which is kind of a third party that you can program that you can use to do your to kind of get your comp and listings chosen and then bring that data in from your MLS and your county records. That they're also working on the integration for that. Solomon adjustment calculator, I believe now is ready for UAD 3.6. If it hasn't been launched yet, it's going to be imminently as well. I know that they're almost done with that. And then Lori's asking about, because you can now use the photos, the front view photos from the MLS for your comps and your listings. She's asking, do you still have to physically inspect the comps from the street, or is that gone as well?
Well, we will look at what it tells us we have to do and in our engagement letter, and we will follow that.
Yeah.
Because some say we do and some don't clarify. So
Michael's asking, when using the market analysis feature, will all this be imported as usual like it was in UAD 2.6? When it is ready, and like I said, this I'm using obviously a test version. She is using the current version of Appraiser Pro. I have a test version. It's working in my version. So it is imminent that it will be available in the production, in the version that you guys have. They're just finishing up testing.
Go ahead. I'll show you on this version. So for the market analysis, it's really easy. You just select your MLS. You select it. You browse a file. You click on whatever you want. And you just put it in there. You tell it to analyze it for you. You give it just a couple seconds to do its work and think everything for you, and boom, it's done. So then it gives you all these awesome little sheets over here. It gives you your market conditions sheet already done and in there. And it tells you everything about it. You can just check mark it. It gives you your market. Oh, I'm sorry, clicked on the wrong one. Gives your analysis, which actually gives you how many sales. So guess what? You could just use that and then type it into your report, right? It gives you your median base. So it's going to tell you those and your trend line. We are going up here. And it gives you your time adjustment. So we went down just a little bit over 12 months, right? So there's your adjustment. You got it already. I love that feature because it tells me. And then it also puts in how many sales you actually ran and what ones. So it tells you everything. I don't give this to the lender, but it's in my report. So it's basically my work file in there. It showed me what I all ran. So I don't necessarily give it to them, but it's there. So that's easy. So then here's our information. Am I going to put it in there? I might put the days on market and then show that. Okay. Supply and demand. Okay. What do we know about this? Well, it just showed you that, it's pretty imbalanced. Okay. Marketing time, it basically showed you that we're under the 3-month mark, right? Do we have to comment? Well, we can if we want to, right? I'm going to say in Randolph County, this is, my verbiage, okay, that I just wanted to add in there to show the bank extra verbiage. Okay, and then any exhibits that you want. Okay, guess what, guys? That's it. That's your market. We're done. And I actually did extra. Like I did more than I had to do. Okay. Market history. Okay, so this is going to be about your subject and your prior sales, right? So we don't have our prior sales in there yet, but we do have our listing. Was it a current listing? And if it was, we're going to add that listing data. Okay, it is pending right now. It's a MLS. We're going to put our MLS ID and the days on market. Okay. When did it start and when did it end? You don't have to put that in there anymore. Okay. You don't even have to put the list price that it started at unless you want to, but you do have to put the final list price, like where are we at? Okay. And then if you want to add another listing to it, like let's say it closed not that long ago, you can put that in there. And now remember, what do we have to do for our subject under listing information? We have to look for a minimum of 1 year back, right? But for the history on our subject, we have to look for 3 years back. Now, oh, I'm sorry, I did these backwards. Oh no, subject listing. Okay. And then the subject history, we're going 3 years back. So prior sales. Yep, we did. We had a prior sale. It was a sale, and it was, just a typical motivated, seller. Like it was just a normal sale. Now they want to know the date. When did it sell? Okay. So it sold here, and we don't care about the prior amount, and we don't care about the reason or amount not available, but we do care about where you got that information from. So I got it from the MLS, and then I also pulled the assessor's record on it and the deed. Like all three matched, and so I'm going to put all three there. Okay. And then did we analyze anything else? Yep, I analyzed it. So, you can put in there if you want to. Okay, otherwise you're done. This is all about the subject, okay, and the market history for the subject. Then you're done. Do we have a contract? So this is going to bounce back in from what we just selected in our history, okay? We do have a sales contract on this. Was it analyzed? Did you look at that sales contract? Yes or no? If you select no, I would put in here that they didn't give it to me, right? The buyer, or the lender, I don't have it. So nope. But if you did analyze it, they're then going to ask you, what was your price? What was your contract date? And they do want to know the transfer terms. So are we, just a typical, motivated seller? Like that's it. And do we get any concessions? Yes or no? Yeah, we're going to get concessions. If you don't know it, okay. If you know it, yep. And they're going to get $9,000. Okay. And then if you want to put that in here, you can, like what they're doing, right? Or if they've got any personal property or whatever going with it, you can put it here. Just to kind of explain your report, we're telling a story here. Appraisal report is a story. We want to tell the story, even though we're on filling it out, blank by blank. Okay. So now here we get into the fun stuff, right? Our first sales comparison approach. Okay. We're usually probably always going to run this. So, yep, we're going to do it. Add additional properties not analyzed. So if you have some that you're not going to analyze, you can put them here, and the reason you're not used. So let's say we get that lovely reconsideration of value. Okay. You can put that in there and why you didn't use it. Okay. That can go right there. But if you don't have any right now, then you don't have to put that in there. Okay. Now we're going to do the sales comparison approach, and it's going to load just like it did from, your older report. You're going to see them, and then you can add your comparables. Now you'll be able to import them in like you did before with your software. I don't know about the other softwares, but I'm assuming they'll have some sort of input, like the old one did, a comp manager, or the oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, comp manager at this very moment is not working with the UAD 3.6.
Right.
But it is imminently going to be working. So probably by the end of this month, that's going to be working.
And what's the other one called?
There's also, if you go to tools, you can use Profit.ai will do it as well. That'll aid you in choosing your comps and listings via the MLS and via the county records, and it'll give you, gives you a nice pretty interface. You can bring your photos in, and it'll also allow you to compare the data from both the county records and the MLS so that you can go through there line by line, and any discrepancies you can go ahead and basically say, okay, the county records is incorrect. I'm going to go with the MLS, or you can put your own in there. You can
Why in the
reconcile.
heck
Reconcile is the word I was looking for.
I don't think I'm using that one. I need to use that one now. However, I'm using this one, and I just load my comps in, and they put them in there nice and neat, and then I've got my comps in a row. So for this purpose, we're just going to do it by hand the old school way. So I'm going to have another comp, and we're going to do 4. Okay. And they're just going to keep adding. Okay. You can just keep going.
One question we did get, they were asking, well, first of all, there were some people that were asking, do you know if it's a change in USPAP that does say that they can use the photos from the MLS, like as the use? I know the GSEs are okay with it, but has the USPAP been changed as well?
There was nothing in there that said that we had to do comp photos.
Okay. Okay. Well, there were like inspection from the street, that kind of stuff. So, the other question was, if it is a purchase, is it not mandatory to get a purchase contract and analyze?
Sorry, repeat that.
They asked, if it is a purchase, is it not mandatory to get a purchase contract and analyze?
You do not have to get a purchase contract.
Okay.
No. Nowhere does it say you have to get a purchase contract.
Okay.
They don't have to send it. Nope. For USPAP, I think that there's always been a misconception on what is the GSE's requirements and what is USPAP requirements. And I would always say go to the source for sure. The USPAP book is available, and download it, read it. It tells you everything.
Yeah, they're saying it is for the VA. Keep in mind, though, the VA is not yet using UAD 3.6. They will. They have not said the timeline. The FHA has said spring, but I don't think they're yet using 3.6. They have been saying spring, but they have not. I don't think they've yet started doing 3.6 reports.
Right. So for inspection, like USPAP does say something about inspection, but it talks about that in the scope of work, right? So the appraiser decides the level of inspection that's necessary.
Oh, I was talking about with the VA stuff. They're talking in there about the purchase contract, I think is what they were talking about.
Oh, okay, for VA. Yeah, that's a different set of rules and doesn't follow this.
I keep forgetting that you're not looking at the chat, so.
Oh.
My apologies.
Yeah, I can't see it. Okay. On to comparables. So, and if you want to keep adding, however many comparables you want to do, you can, and it just keeps going, right? They're all in a line, and you just keep seeing them. There are some things you can do up here to move them around. Like I want to move, once I type it in, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 6. Let's say I want to move these 2 comps around. All I have to do is hit the button, and I can easily move them around, right? I don't have to right click, copy, and switch and whatever. I can just move them easily around, right? If I want, I can't do it. If I want to be like, oh, I'm not using you, I'm deleting you. Goodbye. See you later. 1, 2, 2, you're gone. Just delete it out of there. And then I can add another comp at the end if I want to. So let's say I import them over and my 2 listings are 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4. I can just move those over to the end of my report. Okay, so then there was none here, but it's showing 1 or a red because we put it up at the top. But so then they're going to want you to fill out this information, okay? And the thing that's different here is your comp photos are going to go right here now, right? So they're going to come right over on top. And so you can see them as you're putting in your information, right? City, state, zip. This is where it gets a little bit different from the other one before. It's not real different, but it's a little, but we're just following it along, right? So what's our dwelling? Okay, this is where we're going to say our dwelling again. What do they want here? However, it's in blue, so we don't have to put it. And if you noticed, we did put it in over in our dwelling section here. It doesn't show it here, so they really don't care, right? So if we want to put it in there, we can. If not, we don't have to. If we click delete there, it's just, it just deletes it altogether. However, they still won't see it in the other one. So we don't even have to put it in if we don't want to. Here we can add the dwellings if we need to. Here we can add the outbuildings if we need to. So I'm going to add a pool house on this one, and I'm done. Okay. On financing, okay, we had already selected what this is for our subject. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to add our data source. So, okay, how did we find this information? I'm going to put MLS, and I don't think you can add 2 on this one like you could, or type it in before. So I got this one from MLS, and my identifier is where I usually put my MLS number. So MLS number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That is really where I usually put that. And then if I want to add a data source, I can add another one. So I also got it from the assessor's record, right? And you don't have to put anything there if you don't want to. Subject property, well, we're going to get that from doing our nice map that we can do very easily. And it's going to come in there. List price, okay, so there's where we're going to put our prices. I'm just typing in whatever, so these are going to be really, really wonky, but that's okay. And now we want to know, what are we? Are we pending? Are we off market? Are we a settled sell? Okay, if we're a settled sell, remember we had to go put in those darn dates every time. We don't have to do that. If we're pending, do we know the price, right? The contract price, yes or no? So if it's unknown or no. Price unknown, yes.
Real quick, in an effort to derail you again. Question came in. With the comps and the subject, where do you put the amount of lake frontage the property has, and how do you make adjustments based on the amount of frontage, slope, shoreline, site location on the lake? And did you say that does this particular property have a lake frontage? I can't remember if you had put that in there. I know you put golf course in there.
Yeah, I put golf course, but when you come down to here, we're going to get to it. We just haven't gotten to it yet. When you come down to view and range and that sort of thing, that's where we're going to start putting that in for lake frontage, ocean frontage, that sort of thing.
Got it.
We still have a lot of forms, a lot of this to fill out about the property yet. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, 3.6 grid can be a monster.
Yep, the grid can be pretty darn big here. So they want to know if it's known, unknown, and the sales price, So then, okay, 1, 2, 3. And then we go from there. Your financing, they want to know your transaction. Was it executed, yes or no, and how, right? They want to know your cash, or if it's a no, what did they use, right? Conventional, and did they give any concessions, right? Known amounts of concession. And see how it has that minus sign in there? That's going to automatically do your minus down there, I think. Right? Maybe not. Okay, we'll check that. I don't, right. This doesn't just automatically minus it though, does it? No, I don't. Okay, like a field. Okay. So then do we know the contract? Yes or no? If it's no or yes, it'll automatically put that in there for you. And remember, anything in the green you have to fill out. So you have to go through this line one by one if you know your days on the market. And this is like in a different order. So this part is going to take you the longest to learn. But again, if you import it from the MLS, it's not going to take you that long, right? Because most of this is going to come over. So it's a detached site owned in common, yes or no. If it's a yes, there's an extra box down here that's going to fill out. Or if it's no, sorry. Property rights appraised, it's going to be fee simple. And I believe if you do, nope. I don't know if there's going to be that little short key anymore. If you do the all rights appraised, okay, so this is in blue. Do we have to fill that out? Nope. You can move on. Project information. Okay, what are we in? Yes or no, yes or no. Acres. Okay, here's where you're going to put all the acres in for you, like your and all they really care about on this one, they don't really care about the street, okay, or I'm sorry, the zoning or the access, right? They just care about, okay, what are you? Are you 1 acre too? You know, what is it? And they want to know that. Or, oops, sorry. Okay, we'll put it over here. So 1 acre, and then you can adjust it here, right? And I'm going to show you the adjustment feature here in a minute. So you can do that, and they don't care about all of that. And if you want to add a street, you can. So here is your influence for your site, right? Somebody was asking about your site influence. So like not necessarily your view, but what are you sitting on? So ours had a site influence for the golf course. Well, this one has an actual body of water, okay? Now we have to select what type of body of water. Well, let's see. We are actually going to be on the Gulf or the ocean, okay? Does it have private access? No, okay? That's it. That's all they care about. And I know somebody said about frontage and that sort of stuff, but you can put that in when you're adjusting, but they don't really care about the frontage.
Now would actually be a good time for us to pause because it is the top of the hour. We're going to do a 10-minute break, everybody. For those of you on the West Coast, it is lunchtime, so you may want to go grab a sandwich or something like that. I know that we got some people in here from the Seattle area, from Sacramento, Los Angeles. Actually, I think we have some people in here from Puerto Rico as well. So bienvenido to you people. I know that we got we got promoted in some of the Puerto Rican Facebook groups. Great to have everybody here. Feel free to get some more questions in while we go to break. And we will be back in 10 minutes. So everyone, by the way, if you had paused this, because you can pause this at any time and go run and go to the bathroom or whatever, and then unpause it when you come back. Now would be a good time if you have paused it and you are a little bit behind us, your time shifted behind us. During these 10-minute breaks, you can get caught back up to live. So we're going to take a 10-minute break and we will be back shortly. Thank you very much, everybody. everybody, we're back. Lots of good questions we got coming in. Remember, if you are not signed into YouTube and you need to ask a question, you can send it to me via text message to 828-919-9082, or you can email me, matt@sfrep.com. Got a couple of questions and stuff that came in via those methods already. So keep those coming in, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Also, if you're watching this after the fact, because this is going to be archived, and I know there's a lot of people who are going to watch this after the fact. Usually these things have about 1,000 people that have seen these after about a week or two of it being on, because I know people share them and everything. You can also email me directly, matt@sfrep.com, to ask any questions that you might have, and you can text me at that number as well. So a couple of questions that came in right before the break and during the break. Let's see. Chris was saying, let me go back up here. He was kind of going back on that whole water frontage and how you make adjustments for that. He said the amount of frontage on the lake is a major value factor, as is the slope quality of the frontage. How and where do you make those adjustments? And he gave an example. The subject has 100 feet of lake, gradual slope, sand frontage, and then the comp has 150 feet of lake frontage, a level slope, and muck frontage. I like that, muck frontage. So where would you, and if you want to go ahead and share your screen again, how would you do the adjustment for that?
Sure. So we haven't gotten to the adjustments yet. That's why you haven't seen them. But when we go, oops, I hit the wrong thing. When we go down here, it's going to be sales comparable adjustments. So every single line that we are putting on there is going to be able to have some sort of adjustment to it. So when we just put in there that view or that lot, we can then go and put the adjustment in there. So what is it going to be? So let's say, where was it here? What was it?
What was the question? What are you looking for? I was answering questions.
Oh, I'm looking for the adjustment for where the lot was. I know it's in here.
Right there. No, that's open lot.
Yeah.
It may not have an auto adjustment, so you may have to just manually do the adjustment on that.
Manually, okay. So we may just have to manually do it, but we can adjust everything. And so you will be able to
but I think what they were asking is can they put the dimensions, like how much frontage there is and everything in the report? And I don't think there is currently an accommodation for that. So that may be one of those things where you may want to go to the Fannie Mae UAD 3.6 site and then contact them and tell them that that's going along the lines of the being able to have the domes, the iron domes over your pools in Florida. I would email that to them, and hopefully they'll get back to you. It sounds like they've been busy and haven't been responding to people, but that may be one of the things that you'll actually want to want to email them about.
Yep. Yeah. And so most of the things you'll be able to see the grid here in a second. I realize we're closing in on time here already. So everything here, if it's again green, we're going to be formatted or required filled. So your bathrooms and then your adjustment, and so on and so forth. You can do all of that. Are the homeowners responsible for maintenance? Okay, so basically it's going to come over in your subject for the ones that we filled out. For your comps, you'll have to fill it in, or if it comes over under your MLS import. Okay, so then when you get down to the bottom, here's where it's going to show you all of your adjustments, right? So your list price, and then your contract stuff, your sales price, and then if your net adjustment. So is it going to go up or down? And then your comparable weight. Okay, this is something new. They want to see, is it less weight, most weight, or no weight? Okay, and you can put that in there. Like this one's going to be my most weight because I only adjusted $121, and this one was $12,000, right? So here's where our value is. Okay, 120. Okay, so that's where your value is going to go. So this is different. And then see how this popped up in green here because I didn't adjust for the pool house, and I said that there was a pool house. So now I have to go adjust for it, right? And we're taking off of our comp. So I have to adjust for it. So now that's going to pop down here, and whatever we put. Now, are there prior sales? No. And how did we get that? Deed or whatever. If you say yes, another drop down is going to come, and you're going to have to put that information in there. Okay, like we did before, but it was a little bit smaller box. Same information. Now, how did you analyze that? You can put that in there if you want to or not. Okay, so then let's say we're done with that and we want to start our adjustments, right? If you're not using Solomon or one of your other adjustment tools that are already built into SFREP, which makes it really, really easy, but you're going to do them yourself. All right, site size, I'm going to adjust it for, what did we say? We're in acres, right? So $5,000 per acre. I'm going to put that on. You got to check the on or it won't do it. And then I want to do it for anything over 200 or 2,500, so half an acre. And I'm going to do it in dollars. And you can comment if you want what you did, but you don't have to. Okay, so now I'm going to go back over here. And if you go back up here and look at your site, which I didn't put anything in that was different. Crazy. Must not have something checked up here because it's only letting me do a couple of things. But if I had something different, it's going to then show up here, right beside it for my site. I'll just change the one that we have in there. I'll just change this one to 4 acres. Okay, and then it'll automatically put that adjustment in there for you. So you'll know, and then it'll automatically do it down here, and then you can weight it differently based off of what it did. Okay, that's it for your sales and your adjustments. You can put it in however you want to on this page. All right, next is your map. And then again, that's going to be really easy to do under your services tab, under your street maps, which again, it's not going to actually pull anything for me because I don't have anything. But it might make something up for me here. Wow. And then if I transfer it, it's going to show me that map automatically. So I don't really have to do anything. I just hit a couple buttons and I'm done, right? It transferred me my whole map.
We're using dummy data here, so that's why it's
yeah. This is not
all over the place.
This is not not Louisville and like all over the place, New York. So yeah, this is just made up data. So then if we've got rental information, right? Are we going to do a rent schedule? So this is your, like if they want your normal 1007 on there, but this is where you would just put it. You don't have to add another form like we did before. You can just put it in here and we're done. If no, you don't have to put it. We're done. Income approach. That is pretty simple. So we know that we're probably going to do it because the 3 approaches, or if we're not going to do it, It's also very simple. It's just a very little box, just like in our original. And what did we do? And if you want to comment on it, you can. Otherwise, the main part that they want here is the gross rent multiplier. And then since we didn't come up with a market rent, it's not even letting us put an income approach in there because we didn't do any rental information. So it won't even let us do the income approach. Now, if we are, then we can do rental comparables right here. And it's automatically just going to show right up in our report. We don't have to add anything. And then your rental map, all in order. Cost approach. We usually do the cost approach, okay? Or if you're not going to do your cost approach, but you are going to do your site value, because let's say it is a 100-year-old home, your depreciation is crazy, we just can't do a cost approach, okay? But you are going to do a site. And I'm going to do the sales comparison. My opinion of site value is 50,000. And here's where I reconciled it, right? Whatever. And you can, obviously this isn't the real thing, but I usually put MLS numbers and everything like that in there. So you can put that in there. Or if you're going to do both, then you can put them in there. Why is that showing? Okay. And you can do your opinion of site value and then your improvements. So we're going to add the improvement. You'll put it here in the amount. So again, single family. Oh, wait. Yeah. And then I'm going to put 50,000. That's our total. And so altogether we have $100,000. Okay. Our cost approach type, which is usually replacement value, our data. If you use the builder or the developer on new construction, you could definitely use the builder or a cost survey like Marshall and Swift. Dwelling cost, anything like that. Those you don't have to fill out, or you can, which one you used, and the effective date, right? And then if you want to put your cost summary in here, you can. And no matter how long it is, it'll just populate in there for you. Now, if we're using the cost approach for land sales and you want to put them in here, normally we just did like a MLS of them, and just typed it in there. Now they're wanting, you can actually put them in here and show them your land sales, right? And then you can put the map as well. So this is an extra step that wasn't on there before, so they can actually see your land sales. Reconciliation. This is the end of your report for your values here. So we know that we didn't have any income approach. We got 120,000 on the sales and 100 on the cost. Okay. What is our opinion of market value? 120,000. So we're coming in over contract price, and we're going subject to completion per the plans, right? So then it automatically puts in a comment for you there. And that's why I put it subject to, so that you could see that it automatically puts a comment in there. You don't have to put it in there. It's the one they want. Client request conditions. Yes. What are those conditions, right? You have to add the condition. Like, what do you, like as is, subject to plans, and then more of them, right? Typically, you won't have any additional conditions besides this one, but reasonable exposure time or the range, the high and the low range, you could do either one of those. And then the effective date of the appraisal, which was your inspection date. So then they want you to comment on your reconciliation. So we only use the cost and the sales. So then I'm just going to comment that I use the cost approach and the sales comparison approach, and I put it in there. Then we comment as is overall rating condition, and we're going to go back to where we were before. It is a C1, right? And then if we want to put any exhibits. Okay, supplemental information. This is anything we want to add, right? And it's just, again, it's going to be those images. So is there anything else in here? And then this is where your other pictures are going to go. So like if you took some extra pictures or whatever, they'll just show up here, right? And already be labeled and everything from your field work. So you've got all that done. And then your signatures. This is where it does get a little bit different, but you really should print this out, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute. But I want you guys to go through this and read it, because it does differ from the first one. And we all know what the first one says, like pretty much by heart now. But we compare the differences, highlight both of them and see, okay, this is what I'm signing now, because you guys are signing this. So you're responsible for this. So you want to know what it is and what you're signing, right? So is there an additional scope of work? Remember up at the top, we typed in that scope of work, right? Yes, there was, and this is what it was. Or no, there isn't. We can move on, right? This is the intended use, all right? It already has FHA on it, okay? It's already in there. I know if it's an FHA report, we always had to put that in the supplemental addendum because it wasn't on there. Now it is. Do we have any other intended use? We don't know yet. Like if there's going to be something we want to put there, okay. And then here we go. Here's another one. Are there any additional intended users? Yes or no? You can add them, okay. And I think your engagement letter is going to tell you if they want an additional user on there, okay, besides the lender, client, and FHA. So certifications, here's what you're signing again. And again, it will tell you probably in here somewhere about that inspection. And did you personally inspect it? And that sort of thing. Because before, if you sign on the left side, you what? You personally inspected the subject property. So have you performed prior services? That's where this is going to go. We no longer have to put in that lovely form from the last one that was our additional supplemental addendum with exposure time. We don't have to put this in there anymore. It's already in there and built into the form. So yes, I have. And what did I do? Okay. No, I didn't. Now here, do you have any additional certifications? Okay. Yes, you do. And what are they? Okay. Or no, you don't. And it just goes away. Okay. Now, since I am the appraiser, I sign. I'm signing here. But if I was the supervisory appraiser, I'm going to sign over here. Okay. So then I can just click it. I don't think you can sign them yet, but you can just click it and sign it. And then my FHA appraiser ID would go here if it's FHA. And then what did I inspect? Okay. It is the scope of the inspection by the appraiser. Exterior, physical, or no inspection. Okay. Interior, physical, or no. And you date it. Okay, it's clear right there whether you inspected it or not. And that is your certification page. So that's like basically the end of your report there. Now, what's new and really cool is your revision history. So right now we have to go to the supplemental addendum. We have to add the date. We have to copy in all of their revision. And then we have to type all of our stuff out, right, for the revision request. Now we actually have a revision page. Okay, so that is really something awesome. You get to add your revision. What is your date? What is the section it's in? So it is in the dwelling exterior and the description. So copy and paste what they said. Is it a reconsideration? No, it's not. Okay. And that's the date of the revision. And then you're going to go to the report and you're going to change it. And that's it. You're done. You do not have to add corrected in the report. You do not have to add a big old statement that says, I did this and this and this and this. You're just going to go fix it. And you're done. This was the adjustments page and condition and quality things. So this is the same page that was our old UAD definitions, but they updated it a little bit, and now you get this one. Looks pretty much the same, but I would definitely go through and read it and see the differences. Okay. Now, that is your completed UAD 3.6 report. That's it. That's everything. And we obviously didn't put in every field or every comp, but we completed it in under 4 hours. So yes, we didn't do all the,
well, under
history
3 hours
and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we did. So SFREP is calling me, Matt.
Well, what me? So tell them to.
So yeah, we completed it in not that long a time. And so if you guys were going along with me, you basically have part of a report done already and some stuff, or at least you've gone through the entire report now or seen the entire report. And it's not as scary as you thought it was.
You know what I tell people is that the filling out of the report is the easy part, at least with the way that both we and a la mode's win total have decided to implement the interface, which is with a what you see is what you get or WYSIWYG interface, which is basically the way you've been filling out reports for the last decade, 2 decades. Now, the way that ACI and Bradford have chosen to do it, where it's more of, they call it the TurboTax method, where it's more of a blah, 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 that may be more of a learning curve because it's going to be different. And they both approaches have their advantages and disadvantages. I'm not going to poop on what ACI or Bradford have chosen to do. They both have their advantages and disadvantages for sure. So a couple of questions that have come in. I got a lot of questions. I got my phone's buzzing off from people texting questions and emails going off. So let's start with one thing Gretchen said. Can we still use the square foot cost from, can we still use the, I need my glasses. Can we still use the square foot cost form that is filled in with cost value from Marshall and Swift cost book? And I don't think you can. I guess you'd have to attach it as an exhibit.
Yeah. I think she's talking about, I'm not sure. I mean, you could probably copy and paste it into there.
So that form is not in the UAD 3.6. So here's the thing with UAD 3.6. It is what it is and no more and no less. So a UAD 3.6 report is going to look the same, whether it was done by SFREP in our software, or in a la mode software, and ACI software, whatever. It is going to look the same. It is going to be in the same order. You can't change the order. So you can't go and add, there are no addenda that you can add to the report anymore. Now you can put exhibits in, but the thing you need to understand about any exhibits that you put into this report is that they get included as JPEG images in the final container that gets sent. So basically what happens is Appraise-It Pro, a la mode, whatever, it's going to create a zip container, and inside that container are going to be JPEG images, the XML version of the report, which is the computer readable version of the report, and the PDF, which is the human readable version of the report. Now the PDF will contain any exhibits that you put in there. But the whole point of UAD 3.6 is so that the GSEs and the lenders and the agencies and everybody can process these reports automatically with a computer. obviously all of this was designed before generative AI became a really big thing, because now you could have generative AI go through and check, make some decisions on the report. Although I don't know how much I would trust generative AI to do it, but the whole reason this is getting into XML territory and what they're doing here is so that the computer can read the report and make decisions on it. Anything that you put in there that is an exhibit, computer can't read it. Okay, so that will only be seen by the borrower and the seller, whoever the final human readers of the report are, and if the lender or if the GSEs happen to pull this report to actually read it. So keep that in mind. So yeah, you could put that stuff in there, but it won't necessarily get read and processed. Okay. Is it required to add the land comparables in detail? No.
No. As far as I know, it's not, as long as you're still making that comment that was in green for the land.
So Lee says, and this is something I've seen a lot. If you apply if you cruise the Facebook groups about appraising, and if you go on Reddit about appraising, you hear this a lot. Lee said, after 35 years of being an appraiser, I think it's time to retire because honestly, this is horrible. Good luck, all of you, with this mess. Look, this is exactly what everybody said 10, 11, 12 years ago about the first UAD. It's not as bad as you think it is. Yes, you're going to have to spend more time while you're out and about. And believe me, this was not my decision. This was not SFREP's decision. This was not Alamo's decision to do this. This was the GSE's decision. However, I was at Freddie Mac headquarters before they launched the first UAD, and this is the way we told them that they should do this. But they decided to do these cryptic abbreviations and all that BS. That's the decision they made. The great thing about the new UAD is all of those abbreviations go away, and it makes it a much more readable report and a much more comprehensive report. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have to spend extra money or extra time, but time is money, doing these reports. I'm not going to get into what you guys should be charging, but it's something that should be factored in. You are going to be spending more time out at the property, and you're going to be spending more time writing the report. Now, 6 months from now, I think that most of you will probably have these report writing times down to maybe just slightly more than what you were doing to do a UAD 2.6 report. But of course, there's more data being captured. So keep that in mind. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. But I agree. There's more. It's going to be more. Jim says, where do you put photos? There's no photo addendums anymore, photo addenda. They are in line and they're in context, meaning that when you are talking about the exterior siding of a house and you want to put a photo about that, then that's where you're going to actually put it in as a photo exhibit. Okay. There's your front view right there. So the photos are basically scattered throughout the report now instead of being on these addenda, so that the reader doesn't have to flip to an addenda page and then flip back and go through you can just read through the report, and any photos will be contextual. They'll be where they need to be for whatever they're talking about. Hope that answers your question. LHKDA 169 says, can we all agree to raise our fees? And look, that's price fixing, and we're not talking about that here today. That's illegal. Can't be talking about that. Let's see. For each revision requested, do you save a separate copy every time like we do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will. Mm-hmm.
And you would advance your revision, your version number. That's what that version number was for.
Yeah.
Let's see. For ENV reports, so ENV reports are gone forever. Is Loan Depot and others okay with this? Yeah, the ENV. So what ENV was a it was made by FNC, which now is owned by CoreLogic. All ENV was it was a very, very early way of doing XML. It really ENV should not have survived past the first UAD, but it did. All it is it's a way to do XML, that dates back to God when I started in this like 20 years ago. ENV was a thing, so it's like real early digital delivery via XML. It's not making the transition to UAD 3.6 because it needs to die. There's no reason for it to exist anymore. So, will there be an office management component to track orders, status, and receivables? So I'm under an NDA, so I don't know how much I can say here. We are working with a very prominent, well-known third party that does that kind of stuff. So look for some stuff to come out about that soon, as well as speaking for SFREP. And I know there are people who are not our customers in here, but this will be the same for whoever your software provider is. This has taken up all of our time and bandwidth for the last 3 years to get to this point. For us, we are going to have a new office management solution that we're going to introduce probably early next year, maybe late this year. It is going to be the next large project that we as a company work on, because we know that that's a thing with us is we used to have an office management solution and we don't right now. That is going to be the next thing that we work on. We're a smaller company. Please bear with us while we do that. Appraisal port upload will require specific handling, or is it gone? It is gone. Appraisal port and ENV, that's basically the same thing. Now there may be an appraisal report web portal now that they're going to replace all that with, and then you'll just, upload your zip package file. So I don't know, but ENV/appraisal report goes away. Is there a cross checker to see if you have used a comp before? Yes, there is, and that is built into Appraise-It Pro. And then someone says, Uncle Buck says, rest in peace, ENV. Personally, I'm not going to shed any tears on that. All right, let's take a look. I got a lot of stuff coming in via text from the same person. I will answer all of that later. Because that's a lot of stuff to go through. Someone was asking about interior measurement. The Instaplan app, does it do ANSI standards? They were asking if it measures, how it does ANSI standards. So the LiDAR, it uses the LiDAR. For those of you who don't know what LiDAR is, it's this sensor on your iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro Max, or I actually have my iPad here for once, or your iPad Pro. So it's that right there in your iPad Pro. So what LiDAR is you can think of it as light-based radar. It puts a infrared laser dot pattern all over the room, and it's able to know the distance to all of those points as it puts it in the room. And it also knows through sensors on your device where it is in space. Using all of that information, it's able to measure walls. It also will measure the height of the ceilings. Now they asked, what if you have like a vaulted ceiling up in the attic or something like that? It's building a 3-dimensional version, a sketch of your whole floor. So when it encounters, it knows where the ceiling is. So if it encounters a, if it encounters a section of a room that is below, 7 feet, I think, then it will take that into consideration. So what it does is it builds a 3D model of that floor, and then it will flatten that into an actual sketch. So it is gathering all of that data as it scans. Let's see. Michael says, can we see real quick importing a template from 2.6? You can import a template from 2.6. While you can use templates in UAD 3.6, you're going to have to create new templates because they're just not compatible. They're just completely different ways of doing a report. One's dynamic, one is not. Now, some people were asking about your responses. Will they be brought in? So if she goes to the, say, city field in the subject property section, or I think it's maybe under assignment information. Yeah, up at the top.
this one transferred over.
Yeah, that one will come over. If there is a corresponding field for from between 2.6 and 3.6, then automatically those responses will be available. So city, state, zip, those are obvious ones. If there is no corresponding, and this is going to apply, by the way, to win total as well. If there is no corresponding field in the UAD 3.6, because remember, there's only about a 6% overlap. My buddy Joel loves to talk about that. There's only a 6% overlap. So keep in mind, there's not going to be a lot that's going to come over. So you can, like, let's say you can import a report from UAD 2.6 into a UAD 3.6 report, but only about 6% of the data is going to come over. So you're going to be doing a lot of from scratch writing in the early days of your UAD 3.6 journey. But, you know, as you get 6 months down the road, you'll have, 30, 40, 50 of these things under your belt, maybe. So then you'll have much more that you'll be able to pull from. So you are making a break with your old data in doing this, for want of a better term. And that's why I say, hey, if you're with ACI, if you're for Bradford, if you're with us, you should be looking at what the other software companies are doing, because we may not be the right one for you. It may be that Bradford is doing what you want to do with their Nighthawk. So you should go look at what everybody is doing. If you're with ACI, you can look at us. You can look at Alamode. You can look at Bradford. You can look at Ivory. They do they have a great product. They have an AI based thing they're doing now. I don't love the way that they're doing their pricing, because it's per appraisal report, and they are not really saying what their pricing is. And they also don't have any of those older forms. So keep all that stuff in mind. So there's pluses and minuses to everybody. Look at what everybody's doing, because now's the time that if you've been thinking about moving software, now's the time to do it, because you'll be making that break. We got a lot of people and a lot of questions here. Let's see. No, we're not going to be talking about what we're all going to be charging. Is there an electronic work file where I can save some of my backup data? Yes. As a matter of fact, Linda, if you will, so she's been working on this report. If she goes to the home menu, you'll see over there on the right, towards the right, it says open work file. In Appraiser Pro, the way this works is that when you click on that, it will create a subfolder in Windows that is specifically linked to this report. And then it's just a Windows folder. And then so you can dump all of your photos, PDFs, everything into that. And then you can always do a search for this report, find the report, and then open the work file. You can open it from either the report like she did, or you can open it from the search function as well. And when you can put all your stuff in there, and if you got to come back because you got to go to court or something like that, you'll have all that stuff, and it'll always be associated with this particular report. Let's see. Has Instaplan improved sketching in decks and patios? They are currently working on that. I don't know where they are because I don't talk to them day by day. I'll have to, matter of fact, if you send an email, matt@sfrep.com, remind me, I can get with them and see where they are on that project. But yeah, they're working on that, and they should have a, update for it soon. Steve says, if you clone a completed 3.6 to a new 3.6, would you say over 50? No, 100% of it will carry over. If you're talking about a UAD 3.6, you're cloning a report. For those of you who don't know, cloning a report would be opening up an existing UAD 3.6 report and then for the purposes of changing the data to make a new UAD 3.6 report. I don't recommend doing cloning. If you do it, that's fine. It's just you got to be really careful and make sure that you save it as a new file immediately so that you don't end up overwriting accidentally the original report. So keep that in mind. But we allow you to do templates, and you can clone. To Appraise-It Pro, the way Appraise-It Pro works, a template is nothing more than a regular report file that you have promoted the template status. So to make a template, you just open up a blank report, fill out what you want, boilerplate information, images, whatever you want to do, and then you save it as a template from the home menu. Yeah, it's right where she says, so save as template, and then bam, you've made a template. So it's real simple. Okay, let me go through and check my text messages here. Let's see. Okay, so someone was asking about invoices. Excuse me. Okay, so invoices are not part of the UAD 3.6 spec. So what that means is that there is no invoice addendum that you can put in your report. We do allow you to put an invoice in there, but it's going to be saved into that zip container as a exhibit. So it's just going to be a JPEG image of your invoice. So I anticipate that there will be that the AMCs and the lenders and people who are collecting the money are going to come up with some type of system to work around this. The GSEs, they don't care what you're getting paid and what you're charging. So they just didn't put it in the spec. I think that's stupid, but hey, they didn't. It doesn't apply to them, so they don't care. So they're not putting it in the spec. We do allow you to put it in there, but it will be put in as an exhibit. So you may want to check with, I get, like she said, with the engagement letter, it should tell you how you're going to be doing that. Maybe it's just you print out the invoice and you email it separately, or you go and you fill out a thing on a web form or something. I don't know. That's something that the GSEs don't care about, and that I guess they're going to leave it up to the lenders and AMCs and everybody and the appraisers to figure out how they're going to take care of that. That's all I got for you. I mean, that's a dumb answer, but that's the way it is. Someone asked, is Sketch 32 going to be available? So for those of you who are not SFREP customers, we used to have a partner company called WCA, Wilson Computer Associates, based out of Greenville, South Carolina. We ended up buying them about a decade ago, but they had a sketching program called Sketch 32. It and Sketch-It are kind of these basic sketching products that we offer with Appraise-It Pro. And yes, Sketch 32 will be included. I just wanted to, so everybody knew what I was talking about. Let's see. Can Apex be used for the sketch? Yes. So if you're coming over, let's say, well, if you're already an SFREP customer and you have Sketch-It or Apex, then it just works. If you're coming over from Alamode, ACI, Bradford, somebody else, and you already have purchased Apex 7 or 6 or whatever, you can just use it with Appraise-It Pro. Now, there might be some conflicts between your old software and your new software, and you might have to get with our tech support so that they can kind of connect it into Appraise-It Pro properly and disconnect it from your old software. But in most cases, you don't have to do that. And so you can use Apex absolutely. As a matter of fact, we're working with Apex directly on the Apex Portal app, which will be a mobile app that we'll be offering that will do field sketching, plus you'll be able to do data collection, and you'll be able to do photo management as well. They also ask, is Image Manager still available? Yes, it will be. It'll be connected in. Well, no, for UAD 3.6, Image Manager won't, because that functionality is kind of built into Appraise-It Pro already. What is the preferred method of capturing photos? Preferred method of capturing photos? I mean, some people want to use a fancy DSLR or mirrorless. That's fine too. Either way, any way that I think the best way is going to be to use one of the mobile apps. Take the photos with your camera or your tablet. The problem is that the iPad Pros, I want to say this was the last iPad. This is the 2020 version of the iPad Pro, or the 2022, maybe. This was like the last version of the iPad Pro that has the wide angle camera. So if that's important to you and you want to use an iPad and do LiDAR scanning, you may want to go and get one of the older, like a refurb iPad Pro, because it has the wide angle camera. The iPhone Pros still have the wide angle camera. All the iPhones have a wide angle camera. So you could just use your iPhone and use the mobile app, whether it's Apex Portal or Instaplan, to take all your photos. That's probably the best way. Okay. appears to be less photos. Yes, I would agree with that. There's less photo taking, more data collection, less photo taking. Let me see here. It appears to be less. Where do interior photos go? You want to answer that one, Linda?
Yeah, so when you're putting them in through the app, they're going to actually come down and usually go in under the subject property. Some are going to go here, and then others bounce down to the.
Because remember, there is no photo
here.
addenda anymore. That concept is not there anymore. So you're going to be putting them in context. So when you're talking about the living room, there'll be a slot for a living room photo. When you're talking about when you're adding your rooms, when you add a bathroom, you can add a photo of the bathroom. So
yeah, and it'll go in there, like right in that page.
Let's see. Where do you? Man, I really need my glasses. Where do you put the majority of the photos, like interior rooms? That's like I said. It's all contextual. So when you're adding, there you go. When you're adding like vehicle storage, you're going to put a photo of your garage. You got 2 garages, you put the other photo in there. So all the photos are going to be contextual. So when you're adding your individual rooms into the report, then that's where you put the photo. Is it correct to say that if you use an iPad in the field, it will take you longer to do the inspection due to filling in the report? No. If you're the kind of person that you prefer to use your clipboard and write out all your stuff, well, now you got to go back home or go back to your office or wherever your computer is, and now you got to type all that stuff out. Whereas if you fill all that stuff out in the field on a computing device of some kind, whether it's a tablet or a phone or a laptop, you're only typing it in once. And I am of that. I've been using computers so long, since 1985, that like I can type stuff way faster than I can write stuff down. Sometimes I forget how to write. It's crazy. Like you have to like think, wait a minute, I'm going to write something out. I just type so much that's my preferred method. And you're going to get that way too. Personally, I find it tedious to type on an iPad. I find it much easier to type on an iPhone or to type on an actual physical keyboard. For those of you that want to actually take a Microsoft Surface tablet or a 2-in-1, one of those laptops that can fold back on themselves, like from Lenovo or HP or whoever, we do have, and if you don't mind, Linda, going and opening up, closing out of this report.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah, go ahead and open up.
I have this one open. Yeah.
No, oh, okay. Yeah, so well, actually, if you'll just close out of the report, so in the home menu, go to close. There you go. And then you don't have to save. You can save it if you want. Okay, so if you go back to the file, which we call the backstage, and you go to new, under UAD 3.6 public beta, you'll notice there are only 3 UAD report types. There is the update, there is the where am I? Okay, so you got the completion, you got the update, and then you got the URAR. There are 3 others in there though now. They're all January and February of this year, and that's the digital property data collection report. There's the paper property data collection checklist and the paper property data collection worksheet. Now, this is unique to SFREPs, what I'm about to tell you here. For those of you who really want to use your clipboard, we do have a printable worksheet that essentially is all the information that you need to collect while you're in the field. You can print that out. It's 15 pages, and then you can staple it together and take it out in the field and put it on your clipboard if you want. Now, that's for those of you who are diehard. I really want to keep using my clipboard. It is gonna be maybe easier for you to wrap your head around, and more comfortable, but keep in mind that everything that you write out there, you're going to have to then come back and transpose when you get to the office. Maybe you have somebody that you pay to do that and it's not a big deal. But it's 15 pages. You can fill it out. It's meant to be printed and you just print it out and take it with you. There's also the property data checklist. And what that is it's a 2-page and you can, like, it's 1 page front to back, or you can do 1 piece of paper front to back, or you can print it out as 2 pieces of paper, 2 pages. And that's just a checklist to help you in making sure that you are collecting all the data that you need to. This is if you're not using a mobile app. Then the third option is the digital property data collection report. And if you'll open that one up, Linda, it's the one in the middle there. Nope, one above it. There you go. So what this is this is meant for you to take your Surface tablet or your nice, thin, light laptop into the field with you. Maybe you want to be like an inspector and set up on the countertop. And essentially what this is this is the parts of the full-blown UAD 3.6 report that only pertain to collecting data in the field. So you use this to fill out all your data in the field. And then with one click of the button, and you see it up there in the toolbar at the top where it says convert to URAR, kind of in the middle, there it is. When you click on that, it's going to convert that into the full-blown URAR. So you're only typing this stuff out once. So if you took your laptop into the field, you filled all this stuff out while you set up shop, or if you're carrying around the Surface tablet, you can then press that button and it will convert it into the full-blown URAR, and then you can continue on with filling your report out that way. Let's see. Let me see. Is it correct? Okay. VA currently requires an invoice. Once again, VA is not doing UAD 3.6 yet. They will be, but right now they're not doing UAD 3.6. And I think that might be one of the sticking points that they're trying to figure out. There is no invoice page as of right now in 3.6. That's correct. It is not a part of the UAD 3.6 schema. So that you got, once again, GSEs,
They don't want it.
they don't care. They're not charging for the report. Like they don't care. So they didn't include it. That's going to be something for the lenders and the parties involved to figure that out. So what we do is we do allow you to you can actually add an invoice page in, but it's not going to be included in the XML version. So it's basically, I don't even think it sends it with the zip container. I think it's in there so that you can print it out and to PDF and email it separately. So you guys can figure that out, what you want to do with it. But I have to double check on that, but I don't think it even gets included in the zip container that you send to the lender in the AMC. It might, but if it does, it's just a JPEG image of it. Can you view the report before you send it? I mean, yeah, that's essentially what you're doing here. You're filling out the report in a print preview. It's what you see is what you get. So, but yeah, you could just print it out as a PDF before you send it. I mean, that's essentially your print preview if you want to do that. So what photos are a must-have in the UAD 3.6? It's pretty much going to be your interior photos for each room. Your exterior photo. I don't think there is a street scene and a rear view. I think it's only the front view. But, I mean, you can include a street view and all that stuff in there, elsewhere in there. Hello, are interior room dimensions needed on the sketch? That's not an ANSI requirement, so no. Oh, yeah, interior, no. The only thing, it's the same. They only care about the exterior. If you wish to include an interior, the interior room walls and stuff, then that's a value add that you're providing. Excuse me, I've still got this cough that I got from Seattle. These West Coast colds, man, they're something else. The worksheet appears to be only 1 page. Will it be updated soon? The worksheet, the printable worksheet is 15 pages. The checklist is 1 page front and back. So 2 pages, but 1 piece of paper if you print it front and back. Can you use the app with no cell service? Yes, both of them will be able to be used without cell service. Oh man, I'm getting so many text messages. Some of y'all aren't signed into YouTube, and it shows. Let's see. I have to read these before I say them because does the UAD require the photo scheme of the side front? You can put it in there, but it doesn't require it. It only requires the front view. And remember, I don't want this class to be all about how we're doing stuff necessarily. More of a deep dive into UAD 3.6 itself. I do webinars on our YouTube page at least once a week, and often it's something having to do with UAD 3.6. They're 1 hour webinars. If you go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/SFREP, you can click on live and you can see all of the webinars that we have coming up, and you'll be able to see the back ones that we did, including this one.
And remember, you guys will have the validate over here. So what is required, it will tell you what is required. So if you click on it, it's going to show up red and you'll have to fill it out.
Yeah, anywhere where you get a validation error or a hard stop over here on the left-hand side, if you double click, it will automatically jump you to that section. And then in the little text box below, it will also tell you, excuse me, it will tell you what you need to put there. The other thing I do want to show you, because Linda, you actually have it turned off. The panels on the right-hand side, if you'll make those bigger, like if you'll drag them out to the left a little bit. Oh, not that far, just like a normal amount. So there is a help section. So if you go up to view, Linda, because you have it turned off, help panel. All right, this is turned on by default. Okay, guys. Anywhere, any section in the UAD 2.6, any field that you go to and you go click on that help tab, it will tell you exactly what needs to be in there. It will do the same thing for the UAD 3.6 as well, but we don't have it done for all of the fields yet. It's an ongoing project. It's a very large project. Now you're not in the UAD dynamic report right now. You're just in the
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if for I would say maybe half the report right now, if you click on help, it will tell you what you need to put into that field, and all of that is coming straight from the Appendix F1. So all we're doing is we're taking the text from Appendix F1, which you should have downloaded and be looking at while you're doing one of these appraisals. We're taking that information and just putting it into that help tab. So in the UAD 2.6, I tell people, hey, this is good for your new trainees so that they can know what's supposed to go into a UAD 2.6 field. But this is we're adding that stuff in for UAD 3.6 because you guys are really going to need that. Text message came in. Matt, will SFREP have GPAR or older forms 1004-25-5 line? Yeah. I can always tell a ACI user, because you guys call them GPARs. We call them non-lender forms. And yes, we already have the non-lender versions. They're the 2.6 appraisal, the UAD 2.6 version of the non-lender forms. Those are already in there. And then we're going to be making non-lender versions or GPAR versions of the dynamic report. That probably will be, it'll be before the end of the year. We'll have that out. I don't have an exact on that yet. But I think we're planning on having that fall. That'll be available. Oh, let me go back in here. We had a lot of questions here. Let me see where I was. Where was I? Okay, next one. In the quals and signs section, so qualifications and signatures section, under the additional certifications, what are they looking for? Okay, so that field for additional certifications, let me remember this, because this was a whole thing that we talked about on a meeting that we had. That is for things like the stuff that comes after your name. Like my wife is an RN, so be comma RN, comma BSN. So SRA, comma, and then any other certifications that you might have that you can put in there. That's what that's for. But once again, check your Appendix F1. If you do not have the Appendix F1, you need to go get it. You can get it. Just do a Google search for Fannie Mae UAD, or I think it's just fanniemae.com/UAD. And you can download it. It's about halfway down the page. When you add photos, the file tree defaults to the top level every time. Inserting photos is painful. Can you look at that sequence? Absolutely. That's one of the cool things about being a, and I believe that's already been reported, and they're already working on improving that. Whoops. There we go. Okay, lost you guys there for a second. I'm not sure if this question has been asked. Can we upload PDFs? Yes, you can upload PDFs as a separate exhibit. But we're also going to be, within very short order, probably within the next month or two, we're going to be adding in so that you can browse in PDFs as if they were images as well. So you can put them into, you can put them a PDF inline. So if you had like a 2-page PDF, you could put it inline as an exhibit, like in the report under context. So that should be within a month or two that we'll have that as well. Did you cover how to sketch? And by the way, if you need to add a PDF in right now, there's a way you can do it with most PDF readers. I'm not going to go into it right now because this is specific to Appraise-It Pro. But if you contact our tech support, their phone number is 800-644-4051, and they can help you with that and show you how that works. All right, next, where are we? Did you cover how to sketch with the mobile app? That is like a whole separate webinar, and we have that on our YouTube page. If you can't find it, email me, matt@sfrep.com. I'll send you a link. But if you go to youtube.com/SFREP, then click on live, scroll down, and there's a whole webinar that we did. We've done 2 of them with McKenna, where we go over how the actual sketching works with Instaplan. And then the way it works with Apex Portal when that comes out is going to be basically the way that it's just a regular app. It's very similar to what you've been doing already. Yeah, there's our YouTube page. Click on live there in the middle. That's actually the video we're doing right now. And then you can see what we have coming up at the top. And then as you keep scrolling down, you'll see all the back webinars that we do. And I try to go in and clip them out so that they start playing immediately and, stuff like that. So get used to seeing my mug and hear my voice, because that's what's in there. That's what I do. Can we use between more than one computer? Yeah, so the way that we license our software is it's monthly. There's no yearly commitment. And we license to the individual signing appraiser. So for instance, Linda, I believe she's the only signing appraiser. She has some trainees, quite a few trainees. She doesn't pay for those trainees. If Linda had somebody that works with her, like an office worker, she doesn't pay for those people either. And you can install our software on as many computers as you want. So if you got a desktop and then you got a laptop that you take out in the field, no problem, no extra charge. If you run in a network environment, no extra charge. So that's the way we do our licensing. You can contact, once again, our telephone number, 800-644-4051. You can talk to our sales office and they can go over pricing. And, if you're really big, maybe you can get some volume pricing, something like that. So, sometimes I get a red warning if the writing on it is too long. Is there a limit to how much you can write? So that's in the UAD 2.6. In the UAD 3.6, all text fields can grow. Okay. So you can see right now what she's doing, it's actually growing. That's one of the great things about the dynamic form. Now, theoretically, yes, there is a limit. Whether you're using our software or a la mode or ACI, whoever, there is a theoretical limit that the GSEs have set for the character limit for a certain field. But in their infinite wisdom, they have set it so high, they say, that you should never run into that limit. If you do run into that limit, I would email them and say, hey, I'm routinely running into a character limit in this particular field, and then they can make a change. The cool thing about the UAD 3.6 is very extensible, meaning that they have designed it so that they can make changes, remove things, add things very easily. Then they tell us, they make a change to the spec, they let us know, and then we make a change to the spec in the software. I see that the worksheet pages on the report tab. Okay, cool. Uncle Bucks says he found that. Do you have a recommendation of where to put extraordinary assumptions in the new report? Ooh, I'm gonna pass that to Ms. Linda here.
So yes, in some of them, like you saw with the new construction, it's automatically going to put which extraordinary assumption you need, like the hypothetical condition under the new construction. If not, remember a lot of those blue boxes that we said you can or cannot fill out or don't have to, that's where you're going to want to put those. So depending on where you're at, if you're in like the property information or the rental information or wherever you're at, and you've got an extraordinary assumption or something like that, or if you have like some excess land or something, the blue comments down at the bottom of each page is where you're going to want to put those.
Excuse me. Let's see. Will all the photos flow from your mobile inspection, or do you have to click and upload each one? No. If you're using the mobile app, the photos will get, in the case of Instaplan, the photos they'll use AI to know that this is a photo of a bathroom, this is a photo of a living room, and then those will automatically transfer into the report. That'll, where they need to go and labeled as such. With Apex Portal, same thing, except it's not going to use AI, so you'll just have to label it, each photo in the mobile app. So you say, okay, I just took a photo of the living room, and then you just label it as living room. You will pull down menu and label it as living room. So by doing all of that, then they will be transferred in automatically. Now, if you are going out with your DSLR or your mirrorless or whatever, and you're taking photos manually, then yes, you would need to load all of those in individually. But if you're using the app, that's another reason to use the app. That's going to be part of the mobile app experience. Let's see. Many of us have a supplemental addendum for each report. Think that document she showed on the side from her prior UAD. Where are we putting all of that now? One spot for flow or throughout? So once again, any kind of addendums, there aren't addendums in UAD 3.6. So anything that you want to put in there extra, you can, like she's showing, there's subject property, there's commentary fields that you can use to put in there. But if you have like a printed document with some fancy charts and all that kind of stuff, GSEs don't want it because computer can't read it. And that's the whole point for UAD 3.6. So once again, don't shoot the messenger here, but that's just the way they want it. You can put it in as an exhibit, but just understand that the computer's not going to see that. And so it will only be seen if a human along the way, the chain of custody of this, takes a look and looks into this appraisal, or it'll be seen by the the end user. So therefore, they're wanting to move towards computers processing these way more. So chances are nobody's going to see it. Now maybe a CYOA kind of thing, and you want to make sure it's in the report so that you can point it out if anything happens later on. Then yeah, absolutely, I would put it in there. All right, I've got a lot of other. I'm going to come back to you guys in the chat in just a minute. Does Cubicasa integrate with SFREP? At the moment, no, but I believe they're working on integration with us. Instaplan is kind of, they're a direct competitor of Cubicasa, or Cubicasa is their direct competitor. And the cool thing about Instaplan is it does the same stuff that Cubicasa does, cheaper, and you get your results instantaneously instead of it having 24 hours because they have to send it to India or Bangladesh or someplace. I think I want to switch to this for UAD 3.6 once we start getting orders. Well, I like hearing that for sure. You get 6 months free. No credit card even required. Email me directly if you want to talk about that. There's my contact information for you guys. I'll leave it up here for just a second. What about iPad Air Pro? Should it work on this? So those are two different types of devices. An iPad Air is basically an iPad Pro without a couple of key features. One of those key features is it doesn't have the LiDAR sensor, so keep that in mind. iPad Air, the Apex Portal app, when it comes out late this summer, will work on an iPad Air, and it'll work on an iPad Pro. But if you want to do LiDAR auto sketching with the LiDAR sensor, that will only work on the iPad Pro. All right, let's see here. How do the subject's bedroom and bathroom count get populated into the market adjustment grid? That is when you add the individual rooms to the report. That's where those numbers come from. So you got to add, it's a little tedious, but you got to add each individual room. And then so when you add in, and this is the bathroom and it's a half bath and you maybe have a photo and then here's the full bath and here's another full bath. That's where it gets those room counts from. Correct, Linda?
Yes, sure I got that
correct. They want to ask how you're doing invoices. I don't think Linda has done, you haven't not actually delivered. You've done some UAD 3.6 reports, but you've not delivered any yet, right?
So none of the clients I have want an invoice or want it in the report. So we don't put them in the report ever. And so it's always, if you want an invoice, then you just, you can put it in the report. Like I showed them, I added it here. And then you can do the invoice in here, but you send it separately. Yeah,
there you go. Now, keep in mind, Linda is a North and South Carolina appraiser, so your mileage may vary wherever you are.
Yep.
Let's see, we answered that one. I got somebody who's sending me a bunch of texts. I'm going to go back and read your text. The guy who said not to shoot you, he's not going to shoot me as the messenger. I'll go back and I'll read your text, but I got to get over here because you got a lot you wrote there. But I'll go back and look at that. And everybody, you can text me whenever you want. I'll be happy to. I go through my texts, and even after hours, I will often answer them. I don't know how many executives for the other software vendors will do that, but I most certainly will. I'm an executive. What's up? But let me give you my information one more time while I do some reading here. This is my contact info. You can email me or you can text me at that number. You can call me at that number too, but I probably won't answer, so text me. Okay, where are we? I get the red limit as well, Chris says. If you're getting that in UAD 3.6, I would be curious as to, like, call our tech support, because I'd be curious as to what you're putting into that section to get the limit. It will tell you when you reach the limit. I don't, off the top of my head, know. It's different for each field, but.
Yeah. If they're reaching the limit, some are like 50. If they're reaching the limit, like some are only like 50 words. Like if it's a small box like this, I think they only allow 50.
Yeah. Stop being so verbose. That's what the GSEs would say. Let's see. Clarify that all the exhibits right now have to be converted from PDFs to JPEGs. Example, the page you are on, the subject property exhibits. Yeah, so I thought I went over this, but let me go over it again. Let's say you want to put in a PDF as a exhibit, like right here as a property exhibit. You will be able to do that. Let's say but here's the deal. The GSCs, once again, a lot of people think that the whole point of UAD 3.6 is so that they can mine all your data and get rid of you guys. That is not what's going on here. Trust me. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories to that effect. That's not what's going on here. What they want to do is they want to have fewer humans involved in the decision-making and report processing process. So they want the computers to be able to read through these reports. And so the computer's not going to be able to read a PDF. So they don't want you putting PDFs in there. Excuse me. So while you can put a PDF in there, they don't want you putting 30, 40, 50, 100-page PDFs into these reports anymore. Now, you can technically do it, but what'll happen is it will have to convert the software, whether it's our software or WinTotal or whatever, is going to have to convert all of those pages of the PDF into JPEGs, because that's the only thing that can go in that zip container that you're going to upload through your web portal to your AMC or your lender or whoever. So they don't want you putting big PDFs in there, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? Anything that goes in here has to be in the form of JPEG. Here's the other thing, and this is a technical thing. A JPEG is a compressed image format, and you can't compress black text on a white background very much. So when you put these PDFs in there, or when you put a JPEG of just text, it's going to start ballooning the size of your appraisal too. And there are limits. I think that they're ridiculously low, but there are a lot of these portals will put a limit on the size of the file that you can upload. So keep that in mind, okay? But once again, the GSEs don't really want your 7-8 page PDFs. I would put those into your work file if they support your valuation. Wow. Okay. Is that everything? We're at 4:30. We're about 30 minutes ahead of time. Let me check text messages here, and then I'm going to check my email. Once again, if I didn't get to your question, because I'm human, I'm going to overlook things, especially the text messages that were coming in, and emails. So if I didn't get to you, please send me a second text or email after the webinar here is concluded, and I will get you an answer. Although I'm going to go out and have a drink after this. So it might be tomorrow before you get an answer. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Checking email. Looks like we're good. Oh, some people ask about the sample reports. Those are now built into Appraise-It Pro. So if you are using Appraise-It Pro, you can access those. They're in a subfolder of your reports folder. If you have a question on how to access that, you can't find it, call our tech support at 800-644-4051. I just realized that I was just showing you guys text. I didn't have that up there. Okay. It's been a long day. So I think that's everything, guys. If you have any more questions, once again, email them and text them to me. But I think we're done here. CE level, we're not giving CE credit, but hopefully you got something out of this and you learned something. If you didn't, let me know, and we'll take that into account for the next time that we do one of these. But I want to thank Linda for doing this. I really, really, really appreciate it. Somebody just texted me, have a brandy. Good job. Well, a G&T, but yeah. But I want to thank Linda Nelson. She's an appraiser here in Charlotte area and also an educator. Thank you very much for you coming in here and spending half of your workday with us. I want to thank all of you for spending half of your workday with us. Once again, if you want to try out Appraise-It Pro, you can either go to SFREP.com and click on Get Demo in the very top if you are adventurous and like to do things on your own. But if you want to get some help with that, you can email me, matt@sfrep.com. I can also schedule you for some one-on-one free training. And then you can also contact our tech support, our sales office, 800-644-4051. And then you can see on the screen, on Linda's screen there, that is where you go. Up at the very top, if you click on that, it's going to download our software directly to your desktop, and then you can run the installer, and then it will prompt you to do your 6 months of absolutely free service. And actually, Linda, if you don't mind, if you click on pricing, we have 3 levels of pricing that we do. We have platinum, gold, and silver. If you go to the pricing section of our website, it will tell you, obviously it shows you what those prices are and then what's included. Most people coming over from other software vendors will go with our Platinum plan. That kind of gives you everything you need, including a website and the mobile app and all of the flood maps that you'll need. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you guys showing up, and it was really cool seeing where everybody was from. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week, the day that it is. And all of you who are texting me still right now, I will get to your texts here in a little bit. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot, guys. You guys are too kind. Thank you so much. For those of you who are still here, I will feel free to email me and feel free to text me. I'm starting to lose my voice again, but I will happily answer you guys back within the next 24 hours. I got a lot of texts and emails to go through. So thank you very much and hope you guys have a great weekend.